Good morning. It is 8:33. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we're going to have a wonderful show. It's a new day. It's Monday, August 27th. I'm excited about the show today. I'm excited about some guests we have coming in. It's a packed show. It's another packed week, and we have a lot of fun coming up. Curt, how was your weekend?
It was fantastic. We had a great weekend here at the church and at the radio station, and I'm looking forward to another powerful week right here on KHEA Radio.
Yeah, we have some meetings. We have some fun planned and scheduled. There's some giveaways that are going to be starting this week, and it's going to be literally, potentially leading up to some of the best moments and opportunities that we've had as a radio station and giving opportunities to our listeners.
I'm really excited about the giveaway that is dropping this afternoon, and that is to Skydive Galveston. You're not going to want to miss that opportunity for your chance to win a tandem jump out of a plane in Galveston and landing right on the beach.
What do you think? Should we wait or should we drop it this afternoon? Should we make them wait till tomorrow? I don't know.
Today. We're going to drop it today.
I don't know.
Ready.
What about like next week? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think today would be a good one. I think people are ready for it. I think people are excited to jump out of a plane. So let's get it done. Let's get it out into the community.
All right. I don't know. Let's see. I guess we'll see if anybody has any feedback. They'll let us know. It's 8:34. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. You know, we have the first guest that's coming in, and it's hard to call him a guest, but it's Pastor Walter Hallam. He is the founder of Abundant Life Christian Center in Lamar, Texas. That's where our radio station is based out of. That's where our radio station was founded and built. It's a vision of Pastor Walter Hallam's, and I'm excited to have him in. We're going to be talking about where we've been in the last year. So even on my Snapchat memories, have you looked at yours? Did you take any photos last year, a year ago today?
I guess I didn't look.
Yeah, I went and looked. So today would have been like the morning waking up after Harvey. I guess it was the remains of Hurricane Harvey, the tropical storm, the rain, and all that nastiness that came over here and pretty much just like devastated a lot of businesses and families and homes and houses. And it changed people's lives potentially forever. There are a lot of stories that I've heard in the last year, stories of recovery, stories of restoration, stories of like a comeback. There's people that are still dealing with their comeback and they're still building, but I feel like it's a process that it's really shown our character as a community. There's some people that have done some cool things in the community, and we want to be able to put a spotlight on that and how there are people that still need help and how we will be able to help them.
Yeah, there's a lot of I just remember from the past year, just all of the rebuilding. I remember, when the Astros won the World Series, like the people still sitting in their living rooms, watching the TV with no carpet and maybe like one couch, those kind of stories are still happening. And I think to see the community come together and help rebuild is still really kind of cool to see.
I agree. If you have a story, if you have something that happened, if you got, put back, set back, or maybe somebody who did, a family, let us know. We want to hear their story. We want to know what they went through and how they're rebuilding, how they either have recovered or they're still recovering. We would like to hear what you have going on. We want to be able to tell your story and hear it here at KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Right now, we are streaming all over the world at khearadio.com. We're available on the TuneIn app. We're also streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube, and it's a lot of fun. We're recording the audio for the podcast. We're shortly starting.
Yes, we're just on anywhere. If you're having an issue hearing from us or hearing or listening, there's plenty of opportunities. If you don't have Facebook, now you can go to YouTube.
That's true. Or if you just listen in your car, listen at work. I don't know. It doesn't matter. TuneIn app. Sometimes people say that like, hey, I don't really use the radio that much, not even in the car. Like, how do I listen? It's easy. KHEAradio.com, or just download the TuneIn app, search KHEA Radio, plug the auxiliary cord in. You can get in your car. You can listen to us at the gym. You can listen to us from anywhere that you have a wireless connection, internet, Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter. LTE, 4G, 3G.
On your flip phone.
your shoe phone, cell phone, make it happen. Thank you for starting your week with us. I believe it's going to be an awesome week. We have some more stuff going on this week. Who are some of the other guests we have coming in?
We have, again, Dr. Aaron Chapa, who's coming in tomorrow. We also have Brent from Area 51 Autos in tomorrow. Wednesday, we have Talk of Alvin. Thursday, I mean, we're just loaded. Thursday, we have Ricardo Daniels finally in studio.
Yeah.
And then Friday, hopefully, there's a coffee shop in Alvin. We haven't officially confirmed it, but they do have the slot reserved.
Cool.
So there's still plenty to go around. I'm really excited for today's guests.
I am too. Besides today's show, it's going to be a show reflecting, seeing some cool things that have happened and things that are still taking place in ways that we can help. We're going to be learning about that. I think tomorrow's show is going to be fun too. So me and Curt are currently in the middle. Not even in the middle. We're at the end of a 21-day cleanse and a 21-day detox where it literally flipped our world upside down, took the way we eat, and it changed everything. It said, hey, this is what you normally eat. Okay, I'm throwing it off the table, and this is what you eat now. Here's a carrot. Here's some asparagus. Here's an apple and a banana. And it's been interesting. Dude, Curt, seriously, get your hands off my food. I have like a snack over here because I ran out of the protein. I need to tell Dr. Chapa that. I ran out of the protein, but I was like, I don't want to buy anymore. I'm literally at the end. So I've been hungry like the past couple days because I wasn't hungry at all when I had those shake supplements because it just filled me up. But now I've been kind of dragging.
It's your protein. The
I
protein.
Know. How else do you get protein? There's no other way to get protein besides
shake.
There are, besides shakes and some protein sources like meat and beans and stuff that we're not allowed to eat. So it's been tough.
See, for me though, I'm fine. I have been probably the least hungry that I've ever been.
Dude, you've been eating a lot of snacks though.
I found some great snacks.
You are a snack eating machine.
4 bags of those plantain chips.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Whew. That's pretty funny. I don't know. You go hard on the snacks. Meals are optional. Just
The
100%
snacks. I just
snacking.
need snacks. Have you seen that little girl with the snacks? That's me.
It is. And I don't know if that's a good thing.
I have also decided that I'm no longer a queso fan. I am now hummus filled.
Dude, hummus is awesome.
It's delicious.
I can't believe you were missing out on hummus this entire time.
I don't even think I want cheese anymore.
Well, I don't know. I feel like you would not have took the chance on hummus because I could have showed it to you before you'd be like, oh, that looks gross. Like the old Curt.
It does look gross, but I think it's amazing. It actually tastes great.
I don't think it looks gross. I don't know. It's 8:40. We're streaming live on Facebook. What's up, Facebook? Hopefully y'all are having a good morning. Roger Nally, good morning to you, sir. He said he's on his way up here to say, hey, that'd be cool. Roger, Curt's new roommate, hopefully. I'm trying to work it out. I got some small details to make it happen, but detail number 1 is we need a bunk bed.
We need a bunk bed, and he has to be okay with my cat.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. Roger is probably the easiest going person, pretty chill, can get along in any environment. He's kind of he's a survivor. I'll say that. He's one tough guy.
I cleaned it all up. It's ready to go. The bedroom's cleaned up. The apartment's looking clean. Everything's awesome. I mean, I swept and I mopped.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, is it looking clean or is it actually clean? Because, there's a way you can just I'll just, kind of barely dust, make sure there's no dishes on the counters. But is it actually clean?
It's actually clean.
That's cool.
It is completely clean. So it's from top to bottom. I vacuumed, dusted, might have cleaned all the windows.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, it's 8:42. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We are going to take a break. We'll be back. We're going to be having a lot of fun today. We have some special guests, and we have Melissa, and she is a member of the community. She's been listening here. Chef Mary Bass actually put us in contact with her. We're going to be talking about all of the things that she's involved in, where the vision and ideas for this came, who all was involved to make these things happen. Because anytime, if you have a vision or there's a big task, it's not just one person, it's an entire community coming together. It's a team of people that kind of make these operations work. So I want to hear, how did it happen? Because it's a big story that needs to be told. And there's still some people that need some help, and she's out there doing it. So I want to learn about these people, these organizations, and see if there's any way that we can be an assistance. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Bethel, right here on KHEA Radio.
If you have any Harvey stories, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us a message at Facebook or call us at 346-704-1806. Sorry, I heard you like ramping just as I.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna ramp it. Yeah. What's up, guys? So Roger's on his way.
That's funny.
Pastor Walter Hallam will be in studio at 9:30. So thinking we should share this from the church feed, but I wonder what time. If we should wait a little bit.
Do it at 9.
Share it around 9 o'clock.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. If y'all have any stories, let us know.
During this segment, I hate when like I get messages from like the onto the radio's page, onto the radio's Facebook Messenger, because it was like somebody rescheduling, and then like we have guests coming in today, and I'm like, I don't
understand.
It was somebody else, but as I was looking and glanced down, I didn't see the entire message. And it was like, can we reschedule? And I was like, oh, is that happening today?
Gotcha.
So we're good.
What's up, Pastor Catherine? We're going to have a good show. We're doing some, a little bit of, I guess, reflection and thinking about where we've come as a community in the past year. That's what we're going to be doing today. Pastor Hallam's going to be on at 9:30, from 9:30 to 10. And then at 10 o'clock, we are having Melissa, who has done some cool stuff, and Chef Mary Bass put us in contact with her. We're going to be learning about that. And she's bringing someone with her that we just found out about this morning. It's the Children's Oasis Foundation, I believe, based out of Dickinson. So we're going to be learning a lot about that because we do not know too much. So it's fun. It'll be a packed house, a packed show.
3 guests today.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's chat really fast. Where were you and what were you doing? Like, or what was your kind of feelings and thoughts when you woke up on the 27th? Because obviously you went to bed and it wasn't bad yet, right?
No, I was awake because it was bad. So like I was watching the water. I was outside, and I was very fortunate that. What's up, Ruth? I was very fortunate that my house was not affected. So I was watching the water, kind of saying like, what happens? Is my house about to be affected? I don't know. So I was up till it was pretty late. You know, our phones are going off. You know, the TV we were watching earlier, like all the flash flooding and the texting, and my alarm system for my house also has another notification like that. So it was a big mess of just like music will turn off the alarms, even though like my phone, I had it silenced, but still like looking, like tornado warning, a flash flood warning. And then my alarm system's doing it. And then I kind of had the TV on watching, but yeah, I was watching the windows, just kind of running back and forth, being like, what? And then at that point, what do you do? I thought about like, do I move my family upstairs? Are there certain pieces of, like furniture and things that, you know, I don't want to get ruined. If something happens, do I move those upstairs? Can I do it by myself? You know, my daughter, she would have been about 6 months old at the time. And, you know, my son, I guess he's 5 now. So he was 4, and my wife's asleep. So that's kind of where I was.
Did the water get close?
The water got close to the back fence of my house. So there's like a retention thing in the back, right? And so it's usually like way far down. I put it on my Snapchat. I shared it again, and it was like all the way up to the back fence. And so it's deep, and then it comes up, and then it comes up, and then it comes up, and the water was right at the last thing. So if that water would have went a little bit more and went over, it would have literally spilled, and like, it's huge. Like the amount of water that was out there is ridiculous.
See, for me, it wasn't like I went to bed because I remember like thinking like, oh, this isn't going to like affect me. You know, it was like up to my apartment door and then would always go back. Yeah. And then I woke up the next morning, and that's when I saw like, oh my gosh, like this was actually really, really bad. because I didn't know. Like at night, I was like, oh, we're through the worst. But then just the amount of flooding, like the hurricane wasn't what really made the biggest impact. It was just the amount of water that was
for our area.
Yeah.
It initially hit like Corpus. That's where Harvey, Hurricane Harvey hit Corpus. It did a lot of damage, bounced off, and then it's like downgraded. And then we get like what they call, like, I guess, like the trash in. And so we just get the water. It wasn't necessarily like the wind and all that.
It was my first ever like hurricane that I've ever experienced.
Right.
Being from a place that's never been close to water, I've never had to deal with it. And so that was, I guess, interesting for me because I was like, oh, this is a hurricane. On the 25th when it hit, I was like, oh, this is a hurricane. Like, this isn't bad. But then like 2 days after with just the amount of rain, I was like, oh my God.
The thing about it is like, that wasn't a hurricane. That was not a hurricane. It was like tropical storm. It was downgraded. So yeah, we got the water, but like when the hurricane comes, like a hurricane, it's a hurricane. You wouldn't be like, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
and see, I was fortunate because it was what I thought was weird was I was in Texas City, and Texas City didn't see a lot of flooding.
Yes.
But just down the road, not even 4 miles, there was plenty of it. It was weird.
Yeah, there was people in Lamarck. So Abundant Life Christian Center right here in Lamarck became a relief and distribution center. It was originally a Red Cross, I guess a Red Cross center. So people were going to be able to spend the night. They had like all the cots made up in some of the locations in the building. And as it kept raining, I think they keep it for that first night, but then they
kept it one night, and then
it was like a night before. Then they moved it because after seeing the rain and watching the parking lot here, they were concerned that it may flood here. So they said, well, we need to move this to another location where we're sure it's not going to flood. So they moved the Red Cross Center away from here. And
so, yeah, we were open on the 25th, which was that Friday night. Because I remember coming by on the 26th.
Yeah.
Which was the hurricane hit the 25th, the night of the 25th. The 26th, I came by, and it wasn't bad. And so everything was good. But then that night was when the rain started to hit again. Right. And they were like, oh, this area is going to flood. And then they moved it. And then our area didn't get flooded.
Right. So then after that, we were able to open up whenever people could get here. We became a distribution center for about 3 to 4 weeks. Pastor Hallam will be able to remember later. We had countless 18-wheelers coming in with food, baby supplies, building supplies. People from all over, even like the country, came here that we were able to meet and work with to help distribute a lot of the things. What you got?
Well, I'm just going to create a post.
Cool. Here. Yeah. Well, here, let me turn. So Joe Perez, he got on, said that he's starting a 2-week juice cleanse today. 2 weeks. That is going to be awesome. A good challenge for sure. Curt, we're ending our 21-day detox and cleanse. I'm running low on protein. I want to take like whey protein. I need to ask Dr. Shaba, can I just drink like my normal whey protein because I'm out? I've been out.
You should shoot him a text because today is the last day.
I know. I need something. I'm going to text old Dr. Chapa. Let's see what we got. Can I do normal whey protein? I've been out of the core since Friday and have been dragging. I've been out of the veggie one too for like, even long, like Tuesday or so.
Yeah.
So
We definitely at the beginning of it took more than we should have.
well, I think it's just we needed more. I don't think we took more than we should have.
It only says like you should be doing 1 or 2 shakes a day, not like 2 shakes a day. And we definitely.
Well, I needed 2, just because of some of the stuff I had going on. And I felt fine. I felt full. So.
Oh, I didn't pin it.
I don't even see that comment.
Really?
On here. I mean, I see it over there.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is a way to add photos, but you have to do it from a desktop, because sometimes if we look over here, we'll see photos, but if we look on our phones to see, we can't see the photos.
It's weird because there's also comments that show up like after the feed, and I look back, I'm like, I did not see that during the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely didn't show up there or here. It's weird.
I wonder. I don't know. It probably has to do with some going back and watching it and commenting, and then if it's like an underneath comment, like if someone you can I think you can reply if you're watching like on certain desktop computers, and then you can't. You see that?
I did.
There's always a lot of fun going on. You call him making a call? All right, it's 8:54. It's going to be a good morning. It's going to be a good show. I'm going to eat a little baby carrot real quick. And those are really good, actually. So, we have Pastor Halliman at 9:30. We have Melissa in, who we got in contact with Chef Mary Bass. She said we needed to talk to her. She has some cool stories to tell and some cool things she's been a part of and helped make possible. So that's going to be exciting. So what do you guys have going on today? It is Monday, so it's a new week. Do y'all have any goals set for this week? Like maybe even I need to wash my car. I need to get that paperwork turned in. I need to finish my homework assignment. I'm starting a business. I'm doing something. Make sure that you are setting goals and taking the small steps each day to try and accomplish that goal. So River is playing my Rickenbacker. That's what's up. So she's upstairs in the house in the music room. So I know River's very talented, but she is still 1. And there's no way that she can get up there herself and jam the Rickenbacker, but I'm proud of her.
We're good.
Hey guys, we're good. Just somebody else that saw the...
They freaked out because we were already live, and they're like, we're not there now. I'm like, no, you're not.
It's 10. A 2.5 hour show.
It's a 2.5 hour show.
Awesomeness.
I didn't eat I didn't drink my shake this morning, and your food looks really, really good. But I'm not hungry.
I am. I've been up since 5. You go to the gym?
I've been here since 6.
Is your finger tired?
From
editing.
No.
I've been editing so hard. I need this.
The video looks good though. It's gonna
awesome.
Be sweet. You guys are gonna love the skydive video that we're giving away.
I hope so. I wonder.
Jennifer said always upstairs. Were you talking about me when I stepped away? Or she just said that now?
No one was talking about you. I was talking to her about something else.
Oh, okay.
This guy.
Just making sure.
Thinks people
always talking about me.
No one's ever talking about you.
No one ever is.
Hey, have you talked to your mom again? Did you ever tell her happy
did.
birthday?
I did. I called her.
She doing good?
Yeah, she's doing great. She's like, calling on Friday did not count as like me saying happy birthday. Like I still had to call her on Saturday, and so I did.
Well, the only reason you said you remembered her birthday, so we were at Natural Living, and I was like, oh, we know something for my dad's birthday that we had planned, and you're like, oh, dang, that's right.
Yeah,
it's my mom's birthday.
Today's my
I
mom's
need to call
birthday.
her. I need to call her.
It's not one of the things that like I just wake up and be like, oh, I need to call my mom for her birthday. Like I was like, oh, it is my mom's birthday. I need to go call her.
Yeah. Can you share this from the?
Yeah.
Yep.
Next. I gotta text the lady the address.
Oh, the other one,
Ashley,
Melissa's friend. All right. Try not to eat this carrot in this mic.
It's so loud.
It's a carrot. It's good.
Okay, do I have enough time to go share it?
If you can do it in 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Sweet.
I feel like that's a long time.
Asking for a lot.
So last week, we had a lot of fun last week too. You know something I'm looking forward to is I guess that's next week. Going to Sammy's Wild Game Grill. We're gonna be doing a video there.
Oh, we are. We didn't tell people we're going to Bonnie's Donut today. As well.
What are you saying we didn't tell people?
Yeah, we haven't said that. We're going.
Yep.
Bonnie's Donut. We're not going to be able to eat anything yet, which is also why I didn't want to schedule the giveaway video yet with Bonnie's Donut, because I want to eat the donuts.
You can eat donuts, man. You know, Crystal had said something pretty interesting the other day. She was like, Curt, I don't know why you're acting like you stuck to the cleanse the entire time anyway.
One cheat meal.
She's just
you do one thing one time and everyone's like, oh, you're the worst.
I guess it's just sometimes how you talk. Man, I went and ate at Jimmy Changa's. What was that? Saturday? I went and ate at Jimmy Changa's, right? And so I'd seen in the Bay Area Houston food lovers group that someone had posted a Cobb salad, and I thought they said, I can't remember where it was from. It might have been from like Papa's, which I love Papa's seafood. But someone else was like, oh, Jimmy Changa's has a good one too. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. You know, like avocado and some other stuff. So we went there. I didn't really look it up. And then when we got there, the closest thing was a seared ahi tuna salad, but it had mango and had some other kind of fruit on it. And I'm not supposed to eat fruit after 4 during this thing. So I literally ate around the fruit, and I ate the tuna because we were allowed to have fish one time a day now. And it was good. It was pretty good. I had thought about just eating more meat. I was like, you know, I should be eating meat 2 times a day. I'm out of that stuff and I'm not getting protein. I feel bad. But I wanted to try and stick to it as close as I could. Oh, man. I had that carrot in my mouth. I couldn't eat it. I don't know why. Are we shared or no?
Yeah. Listen to the interview.
Oh, yeah. The answer is no.
The answer is I don't always know what to say.
It's all good. Just say.
I said Pastor Walter Helm will be on KGA Radio to talk about Harvey. Come and listen to the interview.
Sure.
Check in.
Say like and share or something. I saw Joe Perez. He had shared some pictures on Facebook, and the caption was like 4 pictures in August, and I guess it was just like last year. So it looks like his house took on a lot of water. Did you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know he was affected, but it was bare bones.
Mm-hmm. And then look, he was riding in a boat, going down, looking at the houses on the street, and then it had his son, like with the house stripped down, and then it was the house put back together.
Share this to let your friends tune in as well. Bam.
I thought that text message that we got earlier was them saying like we didn't even know, or like I don't know,
It was.
They didn't know.
Yeah. I don't know how else to put it politely.
Kurt's
We're all worked out though. It's okay.
sweet. Right now is some Torn Wells playing. He's done some cool stuff. His album's pretty good. The dude can sing. Where was he? Oh, he was at Lakewood the other day. They had a marriage conference, and two people that go to the church here and work on the music, they went to the marriage conference, and they said Torn Wells was there and that he's really good.
That's his home church, I believe.
I think he's from around here. If he's not from around here, he did some stuff at churches around here.
He's always at Lakewood. I see him there a lot. Like just in terms of like
He's literally always at a lot of places because that's his career. Like I'll see like he does stuff. Yeah, he's all over. He's getting big in the Christian music industry.
I saw him in concert when I went to the Positive Hits tour last year after Harvey. They called and said, "Hey, we got free tickets for you for what you guys have been doing in the community." So I'm really excited about where he's been in just a year, because that was a year ago when I went in September.
So what's everybody up to today? It is 9:05. We're about to go back on the air. Right now, we're just streaming live on social media. So if you did not know, we stream live on Facebook every weekday. Our show starts at 8:30 a.m. It ends at 11 a.m. We always have a lot of fun, hang out. We like to interact with people on our stream. If you ever have any questions, feel free to ask us. We like to learn about positive things that are going on in the community. We like to hear people's stories. And right now, with it being a year ago that Harvey was upon us, we want to hear about any recovery stories. Maybe your recovery story is not over yet. We still want to hear the process of what's going on. Anything, positive that can shine light on pretty much how like good our community and God is, and just like helping one another.
Pastor Hallam's in to kind of help talk about the recovery process as well, and just what was given back. He'll be in about 9:30.
Yep. So we got 14 seconds and we're going on. Whether I have a carrot crunching in my mouth or not. Nothing but you. Good morning. It's 9:06. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
And we're streaming live all over the world at KHEAradio.com. If you haven't been to our website yet, you need to go check it out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we're about to refresh it in a couple weeks. And this will be the last opportunity that you ever get to see it this way. Like the first edition, KHEAradio.com, version 1. It's about to get nuts.
I'm excited because we're gonna have a new website. We're gonna have new social media. We got YouTube going. We got Facebook going. We got Instagram, growing. And so all of this stuff is continuing to build. We're gonna have lights in here. We're gonna have cameras.
Wait, we're getting lights.
I
asked about that.
And action.
I want some lights. I want lights. I don't know what kind of lights. We just need lights, like pretty lights, right?
I feel it's weird because I feel like I glow and you're just like in the dark, but I feel like this is a good, representation of the characters who we are.
Maybe so.
Like I'm the bright, light that shines through the darkness?
I don't know. You have a light right over your head, and I don't have any. Like the back row's off, and there's another light over here. But for whatever reason, about halfway through our show, this light decides to kick on. It's like clockwork. It's interesting. I don't know. We may need to just like stand up and go bing, bing, and hit it in my, just like turn on, get the energy. Yeah, I'm in the dark. I don't know what it is. It's all good though. I like it. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
Pastor Walter Hallam will be in studio about 9:30 to 10 o'clock talking about restoration, talking about all of the things that took place whenever Harvey came upon us. It's been about a year ago. We just wanted to take this time to reflect and hear some stories. If you have a story of recovery, if you have a story of how you're still recovering, please feel free to let us know. Message us on Facebook. You can also comment on this video feed on Facebook. You can text us. You can call us 346-704-1806. 346-704-1806. Send us a text message. Let us know. We'd love to hear your story and how things have been restored, how you're still getting restored and getting back everything that was pretty much just like taken away such a wrong way.
There was a lot of we talked briefly kind of on Friday with TJ from I-45 Now about how, this area was kind of cool. There was, I feel like at that time a year ago, there was a lot of political bickering that was going on. There was back and forth going on about, just crime and everything. And then all of a sudden Harvey hit and you're like, oh my gosh, here's just one more thing. And then all of a sudden you saw people helping people. You saw, boats coming in from Louisiana, pulling people out. You had people like Pastor Hallam who were giving back 3 million pounds of supplies back to the community. You saw, Mattress Mac, who had all that other great stuff that he was doing for the community. And we really banded together and just kind of forgot about whether you were Republican or Democrat or whether or not you believed in whatever you had. Those opinions all went away. And it was like, okay, I'm going to raise you up and I'm going to help you out of what you're going through, because this might be bad, but things are going to get better eventually.
Yeah, people helping build each other's houses, tear out sheetrock, ripping out floors. And it doesn't matter, you're not asking, hey, what do you believe? In this verse, at the end of the day, I feel like people want to be good. Inside we have something that was placed in there for us to help one another and be good. Sometimes we can lose sight of that, maybe start thinking more selfishly. And that's whenever it's time to kind of reflect and say, okay, what is the main goal as us being people? Like to help one another, try and build one another up and take care of people that sometimes need help, and including, ourselves if we ever get in that situation. And I try, and I don't think I've ever been too, like proud to say like, hey, I need some help in a situation. At least recently, as I've gotten older, I think I'm trying to become more wise and more smart and stuff. But yeah, sometimes people need help. And what happened a year ago with Harvey and all of that, a lot of people needed help, and our community really rose to the challenge, and it's still battling the challenge. But I feel like we're on the right track. If there's something that we can do to help you out, please let us know. Right now it's 9:11. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We're streaming live everywhere.
Yeah, you can listen to us on Facebook. You can listen to us on YouTube. I mean, we're going to have a podcast at some point. We're working on that. I mean, there's plenty for you to connect with KHEA Radio. If you're listening right now, hit that like button, hit that love button, hit that angry react, share this out to let your friends know. Continue to help KHEA Radio be a part of this community and let other people connect with us.
Yeah, if you know somebody who was affected by Harvey and they are being restored, or they've already gotten everything back, or they've built, or they're in the process, let us know. Maybe they're not back in their house yet, but we just want to hear their story. Feel free to tag them in this video on social media. Please feel free to tell them, hey, turn on your radio, turn it to 99.5 FM. These guys are talking about, what happened, and they're asking for stories of restoration and healing and just like bonding. We want to hear what happen. We want to hear your story. Right now it's 9:12. You're listening to KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. You can call or send us a text message at 346-704-1806. Coming up next is LFC Creative with one of my favorite songs on this album that they have. It's called Worthy. Make sure you check them out. You can stream it on Apple Music, on Spotify, download it from iTunes, probably get a physical copy as well. LFC Creative, they are in the studio as well. I saw they're putting a brand new EP out. I think it's called Salt and Light. I'm excited for that. On KHEA Radio 99.5. What's up, Brandon? Speaking of Brandon, that was his sister, Nicole, Miss Andy's daughter. Her house was affected. She was living in Dickinson. There was a whole part, whenever we were talking to Manish from Pizza Fire and Coca Crepes, whenever he said like that area on I-45, literally all around there was in some way affected. Pastor Joshua's parents, Pastor Joshua Rudolph, his parents, they were living close to where she was, but they had just moved in, just bought their house, just renovated it the way they wanted it. They moved to Texas from Idaho and then got the house done, and then that happened to it, and they had to start it all over again. There's a lot of stories like that, but these people, came together. There was people from the church that went to Pastor Josh's parents' house, people from the church, to help Nicole in whatever way they were able to as well.
I thought it was really cool when we looked at some of the outreach that we did, where we had people from like Kentucky bring in sheetrock, tons and tons of sheetrock.
There was people from Arizona. There was like a car full of people
Shanice,
that came, and they were just ready to work.
They were making trips to Walmart. They were helping out, and I
helping distribute.
One of the most powerful interviews I did was with one of them, and she was just literally like crying because people were coming to get help. And then even at the end there, after we closed up shop, our distribution center, there was some financial people who came in and were giving out $500 gift cards, debit cards to people to go and get help.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot going on, and man, without all of the volunteers from all over the state, without all the volunteers, like the people coming from other states as well, that would have been even more. I don't know. I can't even think. But it was definitely because the community came together. They were saying, hey, where can I drop stuff off? And we were trying to do it as orderly as possible, because there were some things, like if somebody brought an individual thing and dropped it out of their car, it would literally be gone because people would be like rushing it. So we're like, okay, everybody take a step back. We don't want anyone to get hurt. Very important. We need to try to do this as orderly as possible, if that is possible. Houston Food Bank came in, multiple trips and stuff that they dropped, like produce, fresh fruit, vegetables, bags of chips, soup, bags of soup. You probably still have some bags of soup in your refrigerator. Do you? Oh,
no,
you moved.
I threw them out.
You moved.
They were literally in my freezer forever.
Yeah. I don't think you were sure how to cook it. You're like, how do I thaw this out? What do I put it in to thaw it out?
Yeah, it was huge. I was like, I don't know how to cook this.
Yeah. Well, when it's frozen, I probably would have let it thaw in the fridge and then just cut it out and put it in a pot, warm it up. It's probably good. That one was like a cheddar,
mac and cheese. But I don't like cheese. Cheese is gross. I just want healthy food, like veggies and carrots and strawberries.
Interesting. And plantain chips. Lots and lots of plantain chips.
Plantain chips. They're healthy, which is good. Not 4 bags full.
Yeah. So Dr. Chopper responded. He said,
that.
This is what I asked him. I said, can I do normal whey protein? I've been out of the course since Friday and have been dragging. He said, try and see what you notice. Most people do not do well with whey protein as it is a cheap protein and not as efficient as many believe it to be. There are good sources of whey protein out there, but all have their negative ingredients. Since you are this close to the end, come get my Fit Food Light vegan powder. Okay, cool.
Dope.
Done. Yeah, I would try that. I don't know if there's something better. I don't know anything about like why would whey be bad? I don't know.
There's just different ingredients in it, is what I think he's saying. Is like, yeah, whey's fine, but there's like other additives in it.
Hey, if I leave my car here, can I ride with you to Bonnie's? And then would you be able to take me home? Because I need to leave my car here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we could would you want to stop by Dr. Choppa's? Yeah, maybe we could do like a foot bath.
I like that.
Ooh, get all that stuff taken out. And then maybe I'll get some of that vegan whey stuff. So on the emails that he sends out, it says it's day.
I don't understand, because when I count the days.
I understand because I counted, because I was like, okay, do we count day one? Because sometimes you don't. It's like, oh, that's not. So tomorrow's day 1, day 2, day 3. Because that's the way the emails came out. But I don't know.
But we started on that Tuesday. Like we started that morning, that breakfast.
Yes.
So how can you not count day 1?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But we need to check with him and see if he's like, oh, that's the way you do it. I don't know. Maybe there's something.
Unless it's a recap email, like, hey, this was what you should have been experiencing on day 19.
I don't think that's what
I saw
it is.
Day 19 on like Sunday night, and I was like,
that made you mad, didn't it?
I did. I was like, no, 2 more days.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm most excited about is just to eat chicken and fish for like every meal. Like that's what I'm gonna do. That's my thing. Like I want to eat meat because I want that protein. I want to get it. We need to go to
Miss. Been hungry. Like that's been the weirdest part about all this.
You have
I haven't
not
been hungry in a week.
Do you still have your shakes?
Yeah.
Well, you still got your shakes.
I haven't. I've been cutting back. Like I've only been doing the one. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of protein. But at nights I've been loading up on the protein. So like I'll do like double shrimp.
Yeah.
I'll do double. Like last night I had like Whataburger with like the chicken, the grilled chicken wrapped in the lettuce. But it was a big, piece of chicken. So I've been trying to get my protein so that it carries me through to the next.
I had my leftovers from Natural Living. So that pasta, because I had the soup and the pasta. So I had the zucchini pasta put in the microwave, and it was good.
That's where we should have lunch.
That's what I had last night. And then for lunch, dude, I went to Delta Blues. It was awesome. So I got smoked chicken. And they give you like a piece of smoked chicken breast, and they chop it up like this. So I ate half of it. So I still have half, and I'm excited about that at some point in my life. And then I got collard greens and spinach. And then I got, it was a kale, cranberry, mango salad. And that was so good. So what I did first the smallest piece of chicken, I took it off and I ate it. I was like, that's pretty good. And then I ate all my vegetables first. I made sure I finished all my veggies. And then I saw how I felt like full wise and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm going to eat these 2 because there was like 2 good sized slices of chicken. And then I'm going to take the rest. And even still, I was like so full at the end. Like I was like, I can't eat anymore.
So one of the things that I think is interesting is you went to a place, Delta Blues, that we love. We absolutely love Delta Blues. Like if we go tonight, like it would be really hard not to hold back on all the good food. You were still able to make something healthy out of what could be potentially a different situation.
This is me though.
I know I would not have the willpower. I would be eating the mac and cheese. I would have like Pastor, if I was eating with Pastor, he'd be like, oh, get the deviled eggs with the brisket on top. And be like, okay, yeah. And I'd just like eat like 6 of them.
He got
Pastor goes, what happened to all 6 deviled eggs? And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm like, have like half in my hand. I'm like, what do you mean?
He'd got the fried tomatoes because he likes those. And those are good. I like fried tomatoes. But he had got them. And he was like, you want one? He was like, oh yeah, that's right. You're not eating that. And I was like, no. He was like, man, I didn't even think about the fact that it was fried. I thought it was like, since it was a vegetable. I was like, yeah, no, not at this point.
Breaded.
Yeah, it's breaded and fried, and
not good
kind of stuff we haven't been eating fried food.
Well,
So, I haven't. Yeah, Jennifer, she got the brisket, which I love the brisket. That's me. Like I want the red, the red meat and brisket. She got brisket, but she's nice because she always asks, "Do you care if I get this?" And I'm like, "No, you can literally order anything you want to." I'm practically at the end, and even still, like I'm not craving it. I love barbecue, but I wasn't like.
see, I like people when I can order the meal and then I can like, hey, eat my fries. When I go to get like the grilled chicken, here, eat my fries.
Yeah. Why don't you just order it without fries?
I could also do that.
You just spending the extra money. I want to spend the extra $2.50 to make it a combo.
Be like, here, have some free French fries.
Baller. So she got the cream corn and something else, which I love cream corn. And I've talked about that a lot. So I was like, well, I can't, but I mean, I'm fine. And then she also got, it's what is it? It's like a pecan pie, like ice cream thing that they put in like this big mason jar. She's like, do you care if I get dessert? Will you hate me? I'm like, I literally do not care. I was like, you can get it, but whatever you want. So it's like chocolate pecan, a big thing they put in the bottom and that's warm. And then they put this big scoops of ice cream on top. It looked good, but for me, it's okay. And I think that might be part of, well, first of all, I'm not a big ice cream person. I like the other stuff that's underneath.
Yeah.
So, but it's been good. It's been good. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. It's 9:24. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We have an awesome show lined up today. This is Stephanie Gretzinger, Steady Heart. This is the KHEA Kickstart Weather Center, brought to you by Texas Chronicles, History, Mystery, and Adventure with Curtsy, the Corn, Casper.
It's currently 86 degrees right now in Lamarck, Texas. It is going to be cloudy for the most part all day long. 7:46 is your sunset. Tomorrow morning, the sunrise is at 6:54. Right now, it is 84 in Houston. It is also 87 in Galveston and 82 in Pearland. And that's a look at your weather for today.
Awesome. So right now it's 9:25. You are tuned in. You caught us. KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. We have an awesome show lined up today. We have Pastor Walter Hallam, who's coming in studio here pretty soon. We're going to be talking about restoration, talking about what has taken place in the past year since Harvey came upon us, and we just want to give a little time of reflection and focus on the restoration that has happened, and still pay some, just mention, because there's still people out there, and let it be a reminder, because just because the news trucks aren't going down the streets and showing people's houses that are flooded, there's still people that are currently recovering. There's still people who need some help. There's still people that need some resources, or people still need help. And so I just want to help remind everyone that is the case. If you know someone who needs help, why not try and give out a helping hand? See if there's anything you can do, whether it's manpower, whether it's, helping get an appliance, or, one thing I want to shout out is Moms on a Mission, MOM. We have had them in before. It's Colleen and Sarah, and they're just great people doing some awesome stuff. So that's whenever their nonprofit kind of popped up. They started working in the wake of Harvey, and they wanted to make sure that they were getting some people back on their feet, and they did some cool stuff.
Yeah, they helped supply like appliances and sheetrock. They did a lot to help out get back to the area. And I think they're still doing it.
They are. And the way that they were able to make that happen is they teamed up with local businesses. There was like a Painting with the Twist. They did an event there. People came out, and they knew that whenever they participated, that part of the proceeds were specifically going to people who were in need of appliances.
They did the Rush Cycle.
Yeah, they teamed up with Rush Cycle over there at 2094. Curt was there. How was it?
That was fun. I mean, it was a fun way to do some fundraisers, to team up with local businesses and get a ride on a bicycle, cycling.
Yeah, we had Rush Cycle in as well on that first time that they came in. So it was a packed house in here. But
4 of them around one microphone. That was crazy.
Yeah. So Rush Cycle stepped up and said, hey, y'all are doing some cool stuff. Y'all are giving back to the community, talking about the nonprofit Moms on a Mission, MOM. They teamed up and said, yeah, y'all can have a fundraiser here. Part of the proceeds will go to the people that need help. And they have a lot of other stuff going on as well, and they're still doing it. So shout out to them. Sarah's one of my neighbors, so she lives in the neighborhood there, and it's cool to see people, just normal people who get inspired and say, hey, I can step up. Why not me? Like I can help. I can do something. And that's exactly what happened. She just did it and still doing it.
And I think our guests this after Pastor Hallam are also some of the same things. Was like, hey, I can help out. Let's connect and get resources. Melissa is coming in. She's been featured on local news stories all across the country, all across Houston, about just helping out and giving back, like providing backpacks, doing things like toy drives during Christmas for kids who are living in a hotel room because they can't get back into their house.
Yeah. And speaking of, business people and just, people in our community who stepped up, whenever we had Manish in from Cocoa Crepes and from Pizza Fire in League City, that's something that Pizza Fire did as well at that time. They said, hey, we can provide food at cost. Is there anybody out there? Are there any businesses who want, or individuals who want to help be able to take pizza and food to like some of the relief centers, some of the hotels where people are staying because they have nowhere else to go? And these are the kind of stories that we love hearing about. We love hearing about the community coming together to make something happen. But it's not just, even if it's one person's idea, it's usually impossible for that one person to make it come true. It takes an entire team. It takes an entire community. It takes people coming together and trying to reach that goal. But it can only be one person's idea, and it's really cool to see it happen. Right now it's 9:29. You're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. If you're wondering how me and Curt's diet is going, and I hate calling something a diet, but right now we're doing a 21-day cleanse and detox. It's going pretty good. How are you feeling?
I think it's the last day, right? Like tomorrow for lunch,
big
party, pizza party at Pizza Fire.
We need to check. We need to check with Dr. Chapa, because I feel like now that we're at the end and we may be growing weary, we're losing count of days. We're like starting to cross multiply.
Why are there like 3 of you sitting in that chair?
Hey, Joe Perez, who is the man behind Texas Chronicles History, Mystery, and Adventure, and we are proud to partner with Joe Perez and Texas Chronicles, said he's starting a 2-week juicing cleanse, or a 2-week juicing, I don't know, way of living. That's 2 weeks. Can you imagine that? How much juice do you need for that?
A lot. Like, especially if he's doing like 16 ounces, probably a meal. I don't know. I'd have to ask him how he's doing it. But I've done it a couple different ways myself, but I've only done 3 days. Yeah.
2 weeks is a long time. So I would guess you would need at least like 5 or 6 of those big glasses servings to be able to make that work. Also, I just saw Pastor Joshua Rudolph got on the feed as well. He was in service last night preaching. But I have to ask, Josh, you had mentioned something about starting juicing. Did you continue doing the cleanse and the detox we were doing, or did you kind of like just stop? I'm waiting to hear some feedback. We're going to have Pastor Walter Hallam in studio right now, I guess so. So Pastor Hallam, good morning to you. How's it going?
Man, it's going awesome today. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good too. Kurt, you doing good, right?
I'm doing fantastic.
So me and Kurt, we're about at the end of our cleanse and detox, 21 days, fruits and vegetables. We're allowed to meat 1 time a day. We're talking a little bit about that. We noticed Josh mentioned last night he's starting a juicing diet for I don't know how long, like a week or so.
I heard him preach that, and I was like, wait, does that mean he stopped his current diet? He's like, I'm going back on a new diet. I'm like, wait, a new one?
Yeah.
What happened to the one you're still supposed to be on?
That's what I was
tomorrow?
Thinking. I just asked him right now. So he's on the feed. I'm going to see if he's going to have time to chime in or not. But
let me just say, I love it when I hear about you guys being on diets like that, because it just leaves so much more chicken for me to eat. It's always something left over for me.
Man, I was telling Kurt about the smoked chicken. I had a Delta Blues the other day and how it was so good. And I'm dreaming of it because it's in my fridge right now. I had leftovers.
I'm dreaming of it too, and I didn't even see it. Oh.
Man, so right now, 9:32. You're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. We have a special guest in studio, and I'm going to call him a guest, but he's not really a guest. Pastor Hallam, you are the visionary behind Abundant Life and the radio station that has been in operation for a little over 3 years now. It's hard to believe how fast time has gone by.
Yeah, it's been amazing. These first 3 years for KGA has just been tremendous. And Gardy, you and Curt are doing a great job. I was listening to you early this morning, and man, this really sounds great. It's a blessing to the entire region, the whole county, because from right here, because we have just unobstructed airways, it goes all over the entire county here. A lot of people don't even know that KGA is the emergency warning system here for Galveston County. So anytime there's an emergency of some kind, it immediately takes over and starts broadcasting it out here at 99.5 FM.
Yes, sir. So we were talking earlier, and we've been talking last week. It's been about a year since Harvey hit, and there's been a lot of focus on, this happened and this and the footage. And we just want to try and focus on like the restoration process and how awesome it is, like as a community, that people are still recovering and there's people still helping out there.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was 1 year ago this week, actually. I think this past Friday or Saturday, was the actual day that Harvey came in. But it's, it's kind of unprecedented because in 2008, we had Hurricane Ike, and that was the largest landmass hurricane, as I understand, that we've had in U.S. history, that's recorded anyway. And then now we have, 9 years later, basically 10 years later, we had Hurricane Harvey, and that's the largest flood for sure. The most water that's ever been dumped in a hurricane like that. So it's incredible that this area in a little less than 10 years had two of the largest hurricanes of all time here in the United States. And the recovery has just been amazing. The people are literally champions. Just imagine this decade of hurricanes. And you go some places, and I'm very sympathetic to people when they go through problems, but there's still years and years later, they haven't rebuilt or recovered. Right. And all over this area, because of the teamwork of the region and just the heart of people, they've come out of two of these already. Though some people are still obviously working through these things, they're going to make it too. Yeah.
So Abundant Life Christian Center was open, as soon as we could be after Harvey happened, and kind of did the phone just start ringing, and how did it become like a relief center, and how did that happen?
Well, that was an amazing thing. Right after the hurricane, of course, we were broadcasting constantly right here off of 99.5 FM. You guys were, and doing a great job for the community. And then we have a gymnasium, and just a couple of days after, once relief trucks could get here, we set up some teams here through the ministry and began to unload truck after truck after truck, 18-wheeler, and then broadcasted out that it was available for people that needed it. And men and women out of the ministry here, out of the church, families begin to, even some of these families themselves had been devastated by that storm, but they just wanted to come volunteer and help. And I made one phone call to Pat Robertson's organization.
Operation Hope?
Yes, up in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And they sent the first couple of 18-wheelers just full of all kind of food, and mostly food and supplies like that. And as soon as it could get here, it took them about 4 days to be able to get around Houston before they could get here because of the water. But once they were able to get here, somehow the news began to get out. And over the next, 4 weeks or so, probably 6 weeks, over the next 6 weeks, over 3 million pounds of food was shipped to us from all over the United States, foods and supplies that our teams here at Abundant Life, through our gymnasium on that back parking lot, begin to unload those and have them ready. And there would be 1,000 people at a time here, many times, just waiting for food because Harvey had wiped out their homes and wiped out everything around them. And they needed supplies, and we were just so honored to join with the great relief that goes on all over this region. There were some great relief, agencies working, but we were part of that too. And I know just off of 18-wheelers, we unloaded over 3 million pounds of food and distributed every bit of it.
That's right.
I have to ask really fast, where did that decision come in to say, hey, we're going to operate as a distribution center or even a relief shelter? Where did that decision come from?
Well, we just made an immediate decision because there was such a need. And I made the decision, I guess. But, with the help of a couple other people, we just talked about it real quickly and said, I don't know what we're going to be able to do, but even if it's just a pair of tennis shoes, we're going to give something away. We're going to do something. And it wound up being millions of dollars worth of food. And then that's not counting all the other supplies that came, the clothing and all of the just utensils that were needed, tools, sheetrock, just 18 wheelers full of sheetrock. That, I'm not even counting that. The building supplies, and people came and began to pick them up and take them. And, we just did everything we knew how to do. And the team that put all of that together, there were probably, a couple hundred people that wound up working there. Ultimately, in this rotating team, it would go on 6 and 7 days a week, just week after week after week. Yeah.
We were open till we literally, till people were gone. It was dark. We got here super early. It was 7 days a week.
7 days.
It'd be midnight, sometime before people
and then
left,
sometimes, like, if the truck could only get there, hey, the truck can get there at 1 a.m. And it's like, okay, well, we'll have a team out there at 1 a.m. to unload the truck and make sure everything gets in. And there was, flatbeds, what do they call them? Like hot shots. The guys just going back. All right, I'm going back and I'm getting something else and bringing it down.
What was it like, Pastor, to kind of see the community, especially over here in Lamarck and at the Abundant Life area, like coming together? What was that like for you to kind of see that firsthand?
Well, obviously it's an extremely encouraging thing to see it take place. And when you go through problems, especially real difficult things like this, it's amazing how the good nature of people will rise up and help other people. Even people, once again, that were helping out of their own hurt. They were just hurting. Maybe their house had been flooded, but if they could only come for a couple of hours, they would just come here and volunteer. And of course, they didn't have to come work to get food and clothing, whatever they needed. But we saw to it that every person had as much as they could put in their vehicles just about and take with them.
Yeah. Some of the people that come to mind, it was Lighthouse Ministries. They always had those red trucks. They had red,
Lighthouse Ministries is an amazing organization here in the Galveston County area.
Yeah, they were bringing some food every day. And so was, we'd have the Red Cross out here bringing food. And there was even food trucks that had come out.
I think I fell in love with Harvey dogs.
Yeah,
the hot dogs that kept coming every day. I fell in love. I was excited. I'm like, when are the hot dogs going to get here? Because I loved eating, just having a little bite to eat during the lunch. Yeah. Because sometimes it was the only thing there. It was the only thing like open, but just to be able to have food from those people that we were partnering with, it was nice, Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. And people were just donating those things, bringing them. And this was really first class stuff. The stuff you'd buy, not just food, but even clothing, shoes, all type of bed sheets. And
do you remember the meat truck?
Oh, the meat truck was phenomenal, wasn't it? A big refrigerated meat truck.
Yeah.
And just we were passing out big ribs and steaks and stuff back to the community that were affected. And I think, the coolest part was hearing the stories. And did you have a chance to kind of talk to people as they were walking through, kind of like, thank you so much? What was that like to hear?
Well, of course, everybody was so busy at that time. It was very difficult to just stop and do something, but it's extremely moving to have men and women just weep and cry. Especially a lot of times these are mothers that have family, they have children, everything in their house just got wiped out and it's underwater. And sometimes the stores weren't even open, initially. Right. They couldn't even get, food like that. And then to be able to drive up here and just take what they needed. And there's no such thing as taking too much when a mother has, several children, and how do we feed those kids? What are we going to do? We weren't limiting them. We were just praying that God would not limit us and our ability to give it out. And believe me, the Lord came through on this one, because just millions of pounds of food begin to be shipped here from all over the nation, sometimes in refrigerated vehicle, trucks, big trucks. And once again, that's not even counting all of the hotshot things like Lighthouse Ministries and others that were involved. There were the city of Lamarck itself. We're located geographically in Lamarck, which is right next to Texas City and right outside of Galveston. And the city of Lamarck just came and helped unload. They put big old, tractors in here and big lifts. And I'll never forget Joe, the man that operated one of the main forklifts. Man, Joe was a champion. This guy worked day and night. What a tremendous man. He's a city employee.
Yeah, he was out here a huge help
every day.
It helped speed it up a lot, to make it a better process. And then, I can't even I can't even think how it would have been without having the help from the city, the support from just all of these organizations in the community to really come together at a time like that.
It felt also too like we kept saying like God's gonna keep providing, and literally we would have nothing left. The gym would be empty, and then sure enough, by 8 o'clock the next morning, the gym would be packed again with more supplies, and it seemed like it did that for 3 weeks.
It just day after day, we give out everything we possibly could in a day, and we're not even sure what's going to happen. And the next morning at 5 and 6 o'clock, there'd be a half a dozen 18-wheelers parked out here waiting to be unloaded. And we're like, how did y'all hear from, about us? How did you get here? And they would have just heard about it, maybe on the news. They saw it somewhere, or word of mouth. They were coming from Wyoming. They came from, I think, New Hampshire, Idaho, definitely Arizona, of course, all over Texas and Oklahoma. It was just a very amazing. I mean, one large church out of Las Vegas, Nevada, as a matter of fact. I happen to know these pastors, and I have a large network of ministries and friends, and that when they saw it on television, they wanted to be involved. And so from other states, they would load up these 18-wheelers and just start sending them here. And then the people on the ground here just tirelessly worked to help get that distributed. It was wonderful. And I think it puts a real spirit of unity in a community like this, and causes a lot of the walls and barriers that can be there because of our society and the world today. Listen, things like this just level the playing field.
Right.
And as bad as it is, something good actually can come out of a hurricane and the recovery out of it. Yeah.
Right now it's 9:44. We're speaking to Pastor Walter Hallam. He's a senior pastor of Abundant Life Christian Center right here in Lamarck, Texas, which is where KHEA Radio is located at 601 Delaney Road in Lamarck, Texas. Pastor Hallam, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts, and what does God say about restoration? And, whenever something is taken away from you, are there any promises that we have as Christians?
Yeah, that's one of the great promises of the scripture. And it's one thing about serving God that's so powerful. Gardy, the Bible says that God will restore what has been destroyed. And one thing God can do that no one else can do, he can restore time, the scripture says. He said, I'll give you back the years. And there are men and women in Joel, that's in Joel chapter 2. And there are men and women that just a lifetime of work got wiped out in their homes, a lot of their memories. But I believe God has a way of just restoring those things back. And he can compress back into their life today so many things that have been lost, so much emotion, so much effort. I believe God can bring that back in a short period of time. And that's what Joel 2 says God will do.
That's awesome. What are your thoughts, Curt? Restoration. It's been cool to see the stories and how people have been building, and some people still are. But it's happening, and it's a process, but they're making it work.
I think we've seen it all around. And I think, one of the things that I forgot, and, the Houston Astros won the World Series last year.
Awesome.
And I remember seeing the picture.
Would you say that one more time?
Houston Astros
Is this
won the
mic
World
on?
Series. And I remember seeing the pictures of families still sitting in their living room where there was no floor.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there watching the Astros win. And it was kind of that realization. We had moved, our relief shelter had kind of ended. But we moved on from that. But there were still people who are still needing. I think there are still places still today that are still rebuilding, and that restoration is still happening today.
Yes. One of the things that God does, according to the scripture, he takes you out of a victim mentality, and everybody around here experienced some impact, obviously, of this storm a year ago this week. But were we victims of it? Only in the sense that it affected us. But what the Bible calls us is overcomers through Jesus Christ. And when men and women begin to work through that, it changes their whole mind. Instead of feeling like a victim who's lost something, now that setback kind of becomes a setup. So, somebody once said it becomes a setup for your comeback. And that's what these past 12 months, I've seen that all over the area. One of the great examples in the Bible is in 1 Samuel 30, when King David, his city that he was over at that time was called Ziklag, and Ziklag got burned and everybody got kidnapped, and I call it Middle East terrorists, did that, and it was a terrible thing. And when he came back to the city, he and his men, when they got back to the city, they saw they had lost everything, and the scripture says that they just wept. And that's probably the first emotion that happens when you realize you've been hit by a storm, or you've had a very difficult time, and you've had a big setback, to say the least, like this area had. It says he wept, and that's natural because tears either, I like to say, they either bind you up or they set you free, one of the two. And they begin to weep, the scripture says. And then he made a decision to not get bitter, but to seek the Lord. And so instead of getting bitter over what he had lost, he began to seek God on how he could recover and get it back. And it takes that focus. You can't afford to get distracted with what you've lost. You have to constantly be looking forward on how do I regain and recover. And the Bible says, then he prayed and he got a plan from God and he started acting on his plan. And then, of course, those great three statements God said, you will pursue it, you will overtake, and you will recover all. And that's an enormous understanding when we make those kind of decisions in the most difficult of times. And it doesn't have to be a hurricane. It could be any type of setback or any kind of hurt that really makes you feel that loss. Even though you cry, you got to cry leaning forward. You got to cry, you got to weep looking forward, because you can pursue. As long as you have breath, as long as you have the ability, you can recover what you have lost. Especially when you just make a decision to let God lead you and let Jesus be your Lord, and to pray and begin pursue according to the Bible. My experience has been in 40 years of ministry now, that God really doesn't get in my intentions. He gets in my effort. And just putting that one foot in front of the other every day, that's a big decision for some people. But if you take that first step, you have that opportunity to take the second step and the next step. And there's innate inside of every person, there's life in you. And if you'll stir that life up and begin to take those steps forward, it sounds like a simple solution, but it's the beginning of recovery. To go forward, remember, God's not in our complaint. He's not in our moaning and groaning over things, but he is in our effort. And when you put your hand to something, even if it seems so insignificant, it's amazing how the Holy Spirit begins to work with you.
Right now, it is 9:49. It's almost 9:50. We have about 10 minutes left. And I want to ask Pastor Walter Hallam, Senior Pastor of Abundant Life Christian Center, about a conference that's coming up. What's the name of it? And do we know any of the guest speakers that are coming?
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that, Gardy. It's November the 4th through the 7th. That's Sunday through Wednesday, November 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'll be speaking on Sunday. On Monday night, one of the great ministries in the body of Christ today, Ron Carpenter from South Carolina, and also, of course, now he just recently moved to San Jose, California. He'll be ministering on Monday night. Tuesday night, someone who in this area has a pretty good name, for a long time. His name is Jesse Duplantis. Jesse Duplantis will be ministering on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Marcos Witt will be having a powerful praise and worship concert, as well as ministering the word. Marcos Witt, of course, is known all over this region, all over the world,
Yes.
because of his music. I mean, he's just obviously one of the premier musicians and ministers in the world today in music. So that's November the 4th through the 7th. We call it Unshakable Families, Building Unshakable Families. On Monday, there will be a men's only, Monday morning, 10 o'clock, a men's only meeting. Tuesday, a couples meeting. And Wednesday, I got that backwards. Monday is a women's only meeting. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Monday is a women's, and then Wednesday is
is men's only. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
And then Tuesday, of course, is the couples time. It's going to be a powerful thing. Those are morning time. Then in the evening, once again, Ron Carpenter on Monday night, the 5th. On the 6th, Jesse Duplantis. On the 7th, Marcos Witt, and that great worship concert. It's going to be powerful.
That's awesome. How long has this conference been going on? Like what year is this now?
I believe this is our 31st year. It's either 31st or 32nd year now to have this conference here at Abundant Life. And there have just been hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over the years that have come here and been a part of that. And certainly it's open to the public. It's all over the area. People come, and so it's going to be a real powerful time.
I have just a couple quick questions about the conference.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's called camp meeting. So camp meetings have been around in churches for a while. Can you kind of talk about the foundation?
Well, it's not called camp meeting anymore. It's called Unshakable.
It's called Unshakable, but it kind of has that. Can you talk a little bit about what that means and why it's kind of important to come together for that week?
Yeah, over the past century, especially as Christianity began to take over our nation in a powerful way, and organizations begin to form, It's kind of a Southern thing, but years ago, 100 years ago and less, 100 years ago, people would come and they would go out to campgrounds, and they would, they didn't have electricity like we have today necessarily, and they certainly didn't have the sound systems and all the and air conditioning and mosquito spray. Thank God we have that today. So they would all get together and they would be there for several days, and they would camp out. Families would come, thousands of people would come, and they would have all the food and have everything, and they would have church services once a year, and so they would call them camp meetings. And it's a very, especially in the South, it's a real well-known thing. And so it's a playoff of camp meeting. That's what we called it. For years, we called it camp meeting. Now we call it the Unshakable Conferences. And this year, we're just focusing on building overcoming families. And these ministries will have something to say about when they're here.
Awesome. So this is year 31 of our conference, our fall conference. It's been called camp meeting. Right now, it's Unshakable Family. I feel like it's important to focus on families, and that's what people are doing. Like, how do I raise my kids? How do I treat my wife? How do I treat my husband? It's really important to take the time and see, hey, what does God say about this? Who does he say that we are as a family? What year did Abundant Life start? Can you give us maybe a little bit of history just to end that?
Sure. Yeah. 1985. We actually held our first service on a Wednesday night, the first Wednesday night of March, 1985, in our home. My wife, Cindy, and I, we've been married 42 years. My wife, Cindy, and I had 10 people that met in our living room with us, and that was the foundation. So 12 of us all together, plus a few children that were there. And that was the launch of Abundant Life Christian Center. And we started from there in Texas City, which is, of course, just right across the railroad track here from where we are. Mm-hmm. So we held meetings there. Then we went to a little hotel out on the Texas City Dike. Out on the dike, there used to be one. Today, there's a big anchor where the Texas City explosion, where that anchor landed when it blew up. And they've kind of memorialized it there. But that used to be a hotel. It was the Texas City Inn on the dike. I think it was a Holiday Inn at one time. So we met in there for about 3 months. And then from there, we went to another place in Lamarck here. It's kind of a funny story. I love to tell it. We actually went to the Empkin Linton Funeral Home because they had a chapel. It was an old funeral home that was about to close down. So they allowed us to use the chapel that was in there. And we used that for about 8 or 9 months. And then we had rented a place in Lamarck. Back in those days, it was called the Food King Shopping Center. And they had a warehouse in the back. So we rented some space in there. During that time, we had bought 2 acres here where the church is currently located and the schools are located. So we bought 2 acres and began construction. And on Easter Sunday, 1987, we were 2 years old as a church, about 24 months at that time. In Easter Sunday, 1987, we dedicated the first building. It was a 10,000 square foot building. There were about 150 or 200 people by that time that called it their home church. And we started from there. After that, we built an education facility, a 16,000 foot education facility. We started schools immediately. We still have a school today, a great private Christian school here. Kindergarten, actually it's daycare now, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Shortly after that, we built a new gymnasium. The people of the church here just rose up and they built these things and paid for them, which was wonderful to allow us to continue to go forward as a ministry. Then we expanded the first auditorium, expanded it to seat about 600, and God just graciously, drew people to the church here, and that happened. And then in 1994, the facility we're in today, the 85,000 foot building, we built this one in 1984 and dedicated it in August of 1994. So that's where we are currently right now in this facility. And since that time, we've added several other properties around here. The church has about 100 acres of property now here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot. I wasn't here in 1994, but I have seen footage of some of the building dedicating stuff. And we were kind of doing some archiving of the old cassettes that we used to record all the stuff on and putting them on a digital format so we could use them. So
yeah, I know in 1986, we did our first television broadcast. Today, we around the world on television, direct TV and some other venues. And of course, now all the social media things. And we're just honored to have a couple of radio stations that help broadcast the good news also.
It's awesome. Right now it's 9:57. Got a couple minutes, 10 o'clock. Pastor Hallam, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate, obviously you're welcome anytime you want to stop in, and we'd love to talk about everything.
You guys are great. And I get compliments all the time. People say, hey, do you listen to Kickstart? And I said, yeah, believe it or not, I really do. I was out in San Jose this last week, and I listened to you. I was over in Scotland not long ago, and I was listening to you over in Scotland. I'll be in Indiana shortly here in the next few days preaching, and then in Kentucky and some other areas. And everywhere I go, I can watch it and listen, first of all, online. That online, KHEAradio.com is awesome. You can listen to that. And then, of course, watching it on Facebook and all, this particular stream right here is wonderful. And then it's over the air, like we're doing here off the tower. So what a blessing.
We've tried to make it pretty simple and pretty easy. Like however you get your news, your information, like we're trying to sneak in. So we're looking for any other outlets.
YouTube, podcasts, Facebook, we got it all.
I know one thing. If I was in business in this area, if I was a business person in this area, and I'm just kind of plugging it out here for you guys because you're really good, I would want to sponsor and be a part of this right here. Amen. Because I'm just stunned at the 20,000 and 25,000 views that you guys get online sometime. It's just amazing. The coverage that you are having in such a short time.
It's fun.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We had a good time with Pastor Walter Hallam. We have some more guests coming in during this 10 o'clock hour. We're going to be talking more, reflecting more, talking about restoration and what our community needs, how we can keep coming together to make that happen. This is United Empires on KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
It's a joy. Thanks, guys. Good job, too. All right. You want to knock them out today?
Yes.
Praise the Lord. See you all a little later.
Yes, sir. See you. All right. We have some guests. We're going to meet. We need to pull up some chairs.
We do. We need some.
I'm eating some carrots. Hello.
Hi. So I don't want it to be yay, Melissa.
Yes.
Don't worry. We'll grill you.
Every journalist that I've ever done anything with, they always say, "Oh, I promise it's not going to be all about you," and then it turns into that.
I know. We're not real journalists, so.
Okay, good.
My name's Gardy.
I'm Melissa. Thank you all.
In the chairs on the
Yes.
side.
Melissa.
This is Ashley. She's with
Ashley.
I'm with Children's Scott. I'm the founder of the organization.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Gardy.
And I'm Cody. I'm going to be
Cody.
the Oasis Education Program Director.
Okay.
So, which
Cool.
is affiliated with Children's Oasis.
I need to type down names just in case.
And I'm nothing. I'm just me. I don't have an organization.
Just going strong.
Put it like that.
Yeah.
Ready? Just
Hey,
so
let's all share.
well, I think we'll
can
be
y'all-
have to.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
we can.
though it's Children's Oasis,
I'm
right?
gonna give you a business card so you can make sure you have it all down.
Yeah, and y'all should invite them to talk about things
We got
because they
Ashley.
need help
Ashley?
still. Are we on Facebook Live right now?
We
Oh,
are-
we're
you are
streaming
live right
live.
now.
And let me make sure y'all just start
Joseph, I
talking.
love you. That's my husband. Hopefully he's watching.
So
Mine just
Ashley
got really weird for
and
other
Cody.
justices with
Yes.
listening.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding.
CODI is how you spell my name.
CODI.
I guess it doesn't really matter if you're just saying.
Yeah, but I really don't really feel like any of the attention is warranted because all I did was what everybody
Do
else
you need
did.
my last name or no?
You know?
What is your last name? I'll take it.
Lucenti. LUCENTI.
And you said, so she founded the organization.
And I'm the
She's
then
the program
I'm going to be the
director.
program administrator for the Oasis Education Program.
Sweet. Okay, right now we are fortunate to have one mic to share. We're looking to get some upgrades,
Hey.
and so we're hopefully like this close. So we're looking at it,
Yeah, no problem.
but we'll make it work. How are y'all doing today? Everything
Great.
going good?
Yeah, we're awesome.
I was nervous. I've been nervous. I've had anxiety this morning. My
Uh-oh.
stomach is hurting. No, I really feel like it was more so about like the PTSD type situation of the
Right.
stuff that I went through last year, and feeling so helpless on Facebook. I mean,
Mhm.
like it started for me early in that morning when I've always had like a big network of folks on Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm getting Facebook messages of people telling me, "Hey, help me.
Right.
I'm stuck," and I was like, do you know anybody with a boat?
well, I know a dog chiropractor. I know a woman's business who does chiropractic for dogs. So I know everybody, you know? So, I mean, if you know, television, tell Melissa, she can get it done, you know? So, I mean, so people were texting me and saying, hey, look, do you know anybody with a boat? I was like, well, as a matter of fact, I do, you know? And then I had people were like, Melissa knows how to, you know, hey, look, contact me. And everybody's telling them. So I'm getting Facebook messages and it's freaking me out because I'm like, they're like, I'm trapped on my roof. And I have family members that went through Katrina, and I've got family members that died, you know, because they went to the roof, you know, they got trapped in the attic. You get in the attic and there's no way out. So I'm like, please don't go to the attic. Don't go to the attic. Just get out, go out the window, get on your roof. Don't get trapped in the attic. And if you are going to the attic and you have to, bring a chainsaw, bring a way to get out, you know? So basically that was it. But I just want to say a lot of grateful things to the Cajun Navy and to the Cajun Navy. I wanted to say a lot of things to the first responders in Dickinson and just ordinary people who had a boat. So thank you so much, you know, and then thank you so much to like everybody who went out there, especially Nicole Renee. She has a makeup company, but she knows a lot of people in Louisiana, and I contacted her a lot for rescues, and she was one of the main ones that was helping me like get help to people that needed it really badly at the time.
Wow. I remember seeing on social media people making posts saying, can anybody go to this address? You know, my parents are there, my dad's there, and then people would go. It's crazy. Just normal people who have a boat. I had some friends who they had a boat and they would go out and do that. And it's just like, it didn't matter. Like you weren't asking people questions like, hey, who did you vote for? You know, or like, I don't know, what can you do for me after this? It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, you know, we're people and we're neighbors. This is our community and we're going to try and do what we can to help one another. So
I mean, it really was. It was a feeling of fear that just gripped all of us, you know, and a feeling of, I want to say that it was survivor's guilt. So if you're high and dry and you have air conditioning and you have electricity and you don't have any water that you have to deal with, you're so grateful just for that. It feels almost like, oh, well, if I'm okay, I should make sure that the people who I know are okay too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, let's just not forget about everybody who went in their closets immediately and started pulling clothes.
Yeah.
And people who were like, okay, I have 9 towels at my house. I only need 4. You know, or they took pots and pans out of their homes. I mean, like they just went out and gutted their houses to give it to people. I just want to say how grateful I am to the people that did that too.
Where do you live?
I live in Webster.
In Webster?
I live off
were you
Eldorado.
affected or you're?
No, I was high and dry. I mean, during Katrina, I had family members staying with me, you know, and we went, so Katrina hits and me and my friends are like, you know, they need underwear. Because that's gross, you know. I mean, you know, they need panties, you know, because that's gross. They need underpants. So, my friend Brooke and Brooke Nelson went and we organized this panty drive. So we got all these underwear and we went up to the NRG now, but it was the Reliance Stadium, you know. So we went up there and we tried to give them underwear. You know, we're like, hey, look, we got all these underwear, and they wouldn't let us in. You know, they had all these people from Katrina, and then there's people who are tailgating and making food in the parking lot, and they wouldn't let them get the stuff. You know, they wouldn't let us give it to them. So I was like, this time I'm not doing that. You know, this time I know that I'm going to do what I can do. And everybody had that same feeling like, you know, one person can make a difference. It's just, you know, you just got to have a lot of blind faith and be really stupid, you know. You have to say, okay, I'm going to take on more than I can handle. And I did a lot. But I was just lucky. God really answered a lot of prayers. Yeah. And it's scary what you can do with a lot of blind faith.
Just not knowing better. I've been in situations like that, like, oh, you're not, you know, don't know any better. You're just trying it just because you don't know. Yeah. And then it ends up working, or you figure out like, hey, this may work. And like, I'm making a difference.
Yeah. I mean, and that's exactly what happened with, with that. I mean, like how I got into doing what I've done. I mean, okay. So, all right. So I'm helping people. I'm organizing all this stuff on how people can get to stuff, and then the next thing is I get sick from mucking houses. It's because it's, I got a real bad infection in my lungs from being out there and helping people. So I was like, but I'm a networker by nature. So I'm out there mucking houses. So I'm like, and I see another crew, I'd get their name and number and I'd write down the point of contact so that people became, okay, well, Melissa knows people. And I do. And so I was just kind of organizing crews and stuff. And, if y'all need supplies, let me know. I can't really help you physically, but I can go, I have a car. I'll go get you stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I met Jamie Tully in line. She was a pregnant woman in line while I was getting supplies. And, through meeting her, which was very happenstance and very, very blessed to meet her. I met her in line and I said, well, thank you so much for helping me get through this line.
Yes.
Is there anything I can do to help you? And she said, I need a meal. So basically I need to confess something. Okay. She's pregnant and she's like real pregnant. And that line was 2 hours long. So I kind of used her to get to the front of the line.
Right.
So I just want to confess that and say that.
That's fine. We got 12 seconds. So we're on Facebook Live. And so everything we said, but we'll probably reiterate everything. Just kind of introduce everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then go from there. It's fun.
Okay. I'm talking too much.
Good morning. You're listening to KATA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We have some special guests in studio. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be talking about a bunch of cool things that are going on and learning a lot. So right now we have some guests. We have 3 guests in studio. We have
Packed house.
Melissa, Ashley, and Cody as well. So how are y'all doing today?
We're doing good. Yeah,
Awesome.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. So today we've been reflecting and talking about like restoration and just the process that people have gone through in the past year. So I was looking at my Snapchat and other social media. And so the interesting thing about social media is sometimes it reminds you about stuff that you posted a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm like, why did I post that 10 years ago? What was I doing? I'm a fool. I should never post that. So I go back and delete it because it was a bad idea. But I was able to see today, like the water, like in my house. I was fortunate for myself and I didn't get water inside my house, but it got up close. And so just seeing it's kind of surreal. So Melissa, you've done a lot of stuff. It seems like you've been very busy this past year. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about how did it all start?
Well, I mean, I was high and dry and it just didn't seem right for me to sit around and do nothing. So I just started helping people. I met people and then I just started helping people.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you had mentioned a little bit earlier. It was just like networking.
Yeah.
You just like networking. You're just meeting people and just being out there in the middle of it.
Right.
You just meet people.
Yeah. And I met someone in line getting supplies for another thing. And she said that she needed a meal, a hot meal for her family. She had 2 toddler girls. Her name's Jamie. She's pregnant, and she has an older son with her and they're all staying at a hotel in Seabrook. And I said, okay. She goes, I just want a hot meal. And I said, well, I don't know how to cook. I can buy you some chicken, but I can't cook to save my life.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So here I am going, I'm like, okay. So I was like, I said, you know what? I'm very blessed. I know a lot of people, I'm sure there's somebody out there wouldn't mind making a meal for you. So I put it out on Facebook. Hey, can somebody cook and deliver a meal for a family of 4? And this is where they're going to be at. So then people started getting weird and they started fighting about who was going to feed her. I was like, oh, everybody can cook. Yeah, maybe I can do this. So then I put a post and then, so she told me how, look, I got too much, so I shared my food with an elderly couple that was at the hotel with me. And I said, okay. So then I was like, well, maybe I should help more people than just one family. So I went to the hotel and I talked to the general manager. I said, all right. And honestly, I was thinking maybe about 20 people at this hotel. I said, so how many adults do you have here that are here for FEMA? He goes, oh, we have 126 adults. I said, well, how many kids? 46. I said, well, how many babies? 12. I was like, okay, all right. I said, okay, I'm going to feed the hotel. I said, I'm going to feed everybody in the hotel. I'm going to put it in the breakfast area, and I'll be here at 6. And he goes, okay. And then I left, and I got real sick because I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cook. I don't know that, and let alone feed 126 people a night. So I put it on Facebook again, and I said, hey, look, I need a meal for over 100 people. Is there anybody out there who can help me? And then R.D. Yoder, Stephen Yos with Yows, I'm probably Paige with City Mark Church said, I can help you. And then all these people just started helping me. And then I had somebody said, look, I've got leftover food from this event. Do you need it? And I was like, yeah. She goes, I said, I can come get it. She's like, no, that's okay. I'll deliver. I was like, okay. So I fed them for one night. Yay.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then just through the grace of God, I fed them for a month every day.
Just from putting it out there pretty much, right?
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Well, I mean, it's really scary when you take something like that on.
Yes.
It is, because I don't know how to cook. So if it's left up to me, these people will starve. And I know that that's what's going to happen, So it's a lot of pressure. And there was a lot of times I'd wake up in the morning, like, I got the today done. And the next day I wouldn't have a meal planned. I'd have nothing.
Wing it.
I'd have nothing. I'd have no idea, but I'd just start praying. And I know that sounds, don't want to be like super religious, but I just start praying, and I'd say, okay, look, I can't do this. If you really want me to do this, you better figure it out for me, because I can't. And so then what happened? And I would do this thing with God, like, okay, if you want this to happen, you better make this phone ring, make it happen, and then I would pray, and then within 10 minutes, the phone would ring every time.
That's cool.
And then another time I was like, okay, this is too much stressful leaving it to the last minute like this. So if you really want me to have this done, figure it out, help me figure it out for the next 2 weeks. And he did.
That's awesome. So I want to ask Ashley and Cody, y'all are with the Children's Oasis Foundation. Can you kind of tell me what that is?
Yeah, so we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides services to families and children who are living with autism spectrum disorder. We're located in Galveston County, so we do a lot for families. We provide financial assistance, resources, things like that. But one of our new programs that we're working on right now is an education program for students with autism. So we've partnered with Pine Drive Baptist Church in Dickinson to be able to provide classrooms for students that are on the spectrum.
That's awesome. So that 517, I know exactly where Pine Drive is. They had to have been affected by the water.
Yeah, they actually received 5.5 feet of water in Hurricane Harvey. Complete devastation.
The water line was literally like at my chin.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, just crazy. Total devastation. The church did not have any flood insurance, and other churches and other organizations, came in and helped them rebuild the sanctuary. And then they received some grants to rebuild the school. So the school is a separate building behind the church. And they reached out to me in February and asked if we would love to come into the school and do our ministry there, which I've been looking for a building to be able to have our school there. And so, of course, I said yes, but I didn't realize, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work that needs to be done there. So we've been working so hard since February to just get part of the building ready. So there's still part of the school that just has sheetrock up and there's nothing else up. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but devastation.
Here at Abundant Life, we had a bunch of trucks of sheetrock come in. And I know some of the sheetrock that we got here went over to Pine Drive, because Pastor Hallam, who was just in here before, he had met with the pastor over there and said, hey, what do y'all have going on? And kind of mentioned some of the stuff like, hey, we don't have this in place. And it was a ministry out of Kentucky that knew people, hey, thousands, hundreds, I don't know how many people, a ton of people need sheetrock. What do y'all need? And that's what they sent, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So Pine Drive, y'all are going to be getting that. When is that the education going to start?
So our first day of school is September 10th, coming up pretty soon. And our program is designed, like I said, for students who are on the autism spectrum. But Pine Drive has a Christian school that's already there. So we'll be able to do some inclusion with our students. We're starting off with elementary age students. And these are students that have a huge communication need. They need behavior support and academic support.
So with the Children's Oasis Foundation, like where did that, like your passion or the desire to start this foundation, where did that come from? What's the history behind that?
You know, I grew up with a cousin who had autism, and I watched everything happen to her family that happens to families that have autism. You know, the husband left, the older siblings raised themselves, and it really broke my heart. You know, as a young girl, I was very brokenhearted over what happens to families, and I'm just so passionate about it. It really is a calling from God, to be honest. I see the need in the community for something. You know, in Galveston County, there's no resources for families who are living with autism. Not only just support, but friends, schools, there's nothing. So I feel like God was calling me to start this. And this has been about 5 years in the making that I've been doing research and on my knees praying, asking God to provide the resources and the things that are needed. And it's still being built. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that restoration and how that's kind of important for you guys to kind of be able to, 1 year ago, Harvey hits, you guys lose the building, but now you probably got an even better building than what you had before, right?
Yeah, well, we never had a building before. This is our first building where we're going to be. Now, Pine Drive Christian School, they've had it's gorgeous now. What we've already done is completely gorgeous, but there's still part of the school. There's probably about 30 classrooms that are not finished yet. So for us, that's just ministry that we can do. We have a waiting list right now for our students because we don't have anywhere to put them. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I feel like, it's been a year since Hurricane Harvey, and people who aren't affected by it, they kind of forget.
Right.
They kind of forget what's going on. The outside of our building looks gorgeous. You can't tell that the inside is blocked off and there's sheetrock, and there's some areas that don't have sheetrock. You can't see that on the inside. So, the main thing that the community needs to understand, that people are still rebuilding. Behind the church, there's a neighborhood, and there's houses out there that you can tell on the outside that no one's been in there for months. The grass is tall or whatever. It's still a process. It still take a couple more years.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to, because like the way I see it, and I guess the way the rest of America sees it, like you see what the news puts on TV. For us, it was different because we were there. But, I remember driving down 517, but then like finally the trash clears, the Jack in the Box gets torn down, the U-Haul place gets rid of all their stuff. And it's kind of easy to forget unless you go into the neighborhoods and you go and see like, hey, where are these people? Like, what do they need? How do we get in contact with them? And what can you actually do? Sometimes I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm literally asking ideas.
I've had people that reached out to me too that were like, thank you so much, because I don't know about other communities, but I was involved here from the beginning, and there were so many volunteers that people were saying, hey, look, we don't need any more volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, we have way too many people to volunteer. Now, what a wonderful thing being a part of a community where there's like 400 people volunteer, like 600 people volunteer. Everybody tried to volunteer somewhere, and there was just no place for you to volunteer.
Yeah.
So, so that's what a lot of people told me when I first started, doing like at the hotels and stuff. I'm just grateful that I have a place that I can help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and, it just wasn't just the food. We did donations too, until we turned the lobby into a donation center, and the general manager was like, look, we have people who stay here too, not just the Harvey people. So we can't turn the lobby into a donation center. And so I was like, okay. So after about the first 3 weeks, then I was like, okay, we can't have any more donations in here. We'd have to bring them in every day and then leave, and after dinner, take them with us. So that was, I just want to say thank you to Nancy and Diana. They headed that. So thank you so very much for doing that. And turning your house into a donation center. Thank you so much for that. But another thing too is really important is, the diapers, diapers and formula. Formula was really scarce. the first couple days. You know, it was really scarce, you know, so, you know, kids are hungry. I mean, so that was just, I remember a mom calling me and saying, hey, look, I need formula. I need powdered formula. I don't care what kind it is. I need something, you know, so that went out and we just, you know, I mean, I went to like as many stores as I could that were open and I realized nothing's open. You know, nothing's open. Everything's there. They're at a hotel. And it's like, okay, well, you know, I mean, I was like, no, don't give your child regular milk. You know, we're going to figure something out.
I remember the same thing for like bottled water, you know, like finding bottle, even going up, like leading up to it, like I could not find it in any grocery stores. Like the supplies were limited. So I can understand like people were trying to find a way to do it. And, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, even in that midst, like we had so many people who reached out and were able to help provide back and give back to that community.
Yeah, like Paige Worthington at City Mark Church did so much with formula, with providing diapers every day. I need to give a shout out to Renee Donahue in Dickinson. She was instrumental in a lot of things out in Dickinson. She turned her house into a kitchen and she would feed like 500 people a day out of her house. She would start in the morning, she'd cook all day, and she'd just go street to street and deliver meals. You know, I mean, and a lot of people did that. Marissa in Dickinson as well. She helped me a lot, you know, with donations and, you know, giving to with diapers and clothes and stuff. So, I mean, I just want to throw out to, and Daniel Gardy with Rue de Crew. Thank you so much for your stuff too. Laura Engel, she gave me a lot of stuff. I've got a big long list. I just want to say thank you to everybody that helped me.
Yeah, thank them all.
Okay, y'all ready?
We're good. We're good.
No, Mary Bass. Oh, I just want to say something about Mary Bass. Okay,
we love Mary Bass.
Yeah, she's awesome. So I called her one day, and I know I was like, hey, I know you're a chef. I saw you on TV. I mean, I've known her for a really long time. I've known her since she was doing cake ball. She had a little cake ball shop, and I called her and said, hey, look, I was like, hey, like I need some food, and she's like, okay, I got leftovers. I was like, what am I supposed to do with it? She's like, okay. I was like, she's like, well, I can give you the food. I said, yeah, but it's leftover. So what do I do with it? She goes, okay, you take this, you put this in your oven at 350 degrees. No, she really did have to tell me, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, she was very instrumental. And Renee Bennett and her son, Renee Farrah Bennett, she's really awesome. She helped me cook too, her and her mom. I was like, I got all this food. What am I supposed to do with it? So that happened to me a few times. So I just want to say thank you to that.
Yeah, Mary's cool. I've known her since I guess I was in 6th grade because I went to Abundant Life Christian School and so did she. Mm-hmm. And she's grown up and become an awesome member of the community, doing a lot of stuff to give back. Now she has that nonprofit that her and our friend Joe Perez started, and there's a couple other members as well. But Chefs, Tables, Charities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like all weird S's. For us to say it sometimes, but yeah,
all S's.
There was like several, you know, nonprofits that came out of that and just found, you know, their place and a way to give back because everybody can do something, you know. You don't need to have that to be able to give back. And we're talking to Melissa, who is doing in proof of that.
Yeah.
So
well, and I also want to give a big shout out to Alan's Frank with Alan's Crazy Swamp Shack. Who donated a meal every week, completely for free. Now, I want you to know that it's an expense for a business who's recovering from Harvey, you know? So I never really expected anybody to give me anything for free. So when I would get cash donations, and I had a thing, I got to tell y'all about cash donations. When I would get cash donations, I would say, hey, look, I'm not expecting you to give it to me for free. I will pay. Mm-hmm. But they would give me such a steep discount. Now, $200 to feed 100 people, that's $2 a head.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like for $2, I'm feeding 100 and something people. It was amazing. It was amazing what the community did.
Right now, it is 10:26. We're going to take a quick break, take a look at the weather. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is the KHEA Radio Kickstart Weather Center, brought to you by Texas Chronicles History, Mystery, and Adventure. This is Curtsy, the Cornless Casper.
currently 88 degrees right now in Lamarck, Texas. 90 is going to be the high today. It is going to be mostly cloudy throughout the day, and then your sunset tonight is at 7:46. Your sunrise tomorrow morning is at 6:54. There is a chance of chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tuesday 90 degrees, Wednesday 89, and that's a look at your weather for the next couple of days.
Hey,
Are we still on the air?
Yeah, Facebook is
I
still
turned your
going.
mic down. Now you're on.
Okay, do I sound stupid?
No, you sound great.
Okay.
Everyone gets nervous when they come on the radio, and they can't be.
Yeah, right. Okay, because I mean, like, zip. I mean, there's no editing in radio. I'm very lucky.
You're on the air.
You know, I'm very lucky
You're
when
alive.
they like, yeah. I was like, because sometimes I start to ramble and I sound stupid, but I do have a list of everybody I have to thank.
I want to talk about you not cooking.
Oh, I don't know how to cook. I
But you
can't
cook
cook.
Not even like one thing.
Macaroni and cheese.
Well, that's one thing.
my
That's
daughter,
cooking.
my daughter has autism,
Mhm.
so she's like very particular about what she wants. She wants original Kraft macaroni and cheese.
For sure.
Not the off-brand.
No, it has to be Kraft, and it has to be the original Kraft macaroni. You know, the skinny ones?
Yeah.
Because they have different varieties
Oh,
of
they do. There's a
macaroni
ton.
and cheese. So I got the wrong variety one time. She's like, this isn't macaroni and cheese. Yes, this is the box. She goes, that's misleading. You know, and I was like, well,
The
it is
original.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. She's like, no, it's not. This isn't the same. This is thick and creamy. I want original. I was like, oh, okay.
You
So
like
now,
what you like.
yeah, well, she doesn't trust me now, so she makes me show her the box.
That's funny.
You know, I mean,
That's-
she has, and she's really sweet. And that's another thing too about it. It's like she loved being at the hotel. She
Mhm.
loved it. And that's another thing too. It's like everybody was scared. So we just made it, I made it all about the kids. And on Friday nights, we'd have magicians come. We had a guy who dressed up as Elmo. We did all sorts of things on Friday nights because I wanted them to feel like it was a vacation.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to stay in a hotel for a kid,
Mhm.
you know, and they're like, oh, we're on vacation. And we had a pool thing. They had a nice pool. We had tons of stuff for kids because
Mhm.
they were scared. And everybody was, we'd go up there and I was like, hey, you know, because Lydia would like to go in people's rooms and stuff. And I was like, no, you can't do that. You got to stay in. So then the moms just kind of adopted her.
Mhm.
So they're like, Lydia, you know better than to do that. So Lydia had like 15 moms up at the hotel, which was really awesome.
Mhm.
You know, I've got some really great stories to tell about the moms and about the people there, you know, and how they changed me. And I've got tons of stories to say about volunteers too. I mean, it's just the way God works. I mean, and I've got a really good story about blind faith I want to share too. Like we're sitting there and okay, so Coke's is luxury. If you get a Coke and a soda, that's like extra, you know. And I always did dessert. Everybody would always like, I'd have all these people in the community. I mean, I'd have the meals straightened out, but I don't know how to do sweets. You know, I'm like, I eat the cookie dough. I can't even wait for it to be cooked.
I feel like if you cook okay, so Kurt, we recently have done some different stuff with
Mhm.
our diets,
Right?
but that's this guy. Like he was a cookie dough fanatic. He's like,
I
he would
still
just
am.
like buy, you know, like he calls
Yeah.
it
Buy
a-
the cookie dough, just eat it.
he
Yeah.
yeah, and he would just like, you know, cut off the top and then just like in the car on the way home,
The
just
block
like
of cookie dough.
Yeah.
chowing down, and then he's a big mac and cheese guy as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I've
Go
been
to her
seeing
house,
you
check out
guys.
all the macaroni
I
and
know.
cheese.
Yeah.
Do you like the original?
I like the Velveeta
I do too. Like you have to like do the package.
Ah.
And,
Yeah.
the package.
The
I hate
creamy
the milk.
cheese.
If I have to mix it, well, one, I never have milk, so I can never do the other.
Yeah,
stuff.
you're right.
I don't. Milk goes bad, so I don't want to mix
Yeah.
milk with my mac and cheese.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I know, because you always have to have a half stick of butter and just a splash of
Yeah.
milk. So it's like, okay, yeah. So, and that's how she likes it. And then, but my mother-in-law, she puts in slices of American cheese in the macaroni and
I've never
cheese.
tried that, but now I'm gonna have
So
to
she
do
like
that.
takes a slice of an American cheese and she puts it in the macaroni and cheese.
yeah.
And she makes it like really good. So my mother-in-law is awesome. Her name is Bridget DeFleur. She's amazing. And she's always giving like extra. She's the best grandma. She's the best everything. And so I tell Lydia, I'm like, I made it just like grandma makes it. She puts love in it. I was like, I'm loving it. I'm standing over the pot. And I'm
The
like, I
missing
love you.
ingredient. I can't
I'm-
taste the love.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm standing. I love you. I love you, Lydia. You're amazing. I'm giving encouragement. I don't know
Funny.
what my mother-in-law is doing it to me. It's the exact same box, and I found out she's putting in slices of American cheese. I was like, oh man. So, and when she makes grilled cheese, she puts 3 slices of it, of grilled cheese, of cheese.
Curt's, he's
You
still
do 4? Do you cut it into a heart?
No.
Okay, my mother.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah.
Knowing you.
Cuts it into a heart. She puts like lots of love into everything she does. Yeah. I mean, I'm real blessed to have her.
By the way, I did do this a lot when I went skydiving.
So yeah, we went skydiving. Or
Oh, I saw that
he
you
went
were
skydiving.
screaming.
I was like, Gardy!
No.
Gardy! I see you, Gardy! Watch out! I'm
That
coming
was,
for you."
how did y'all get that? Somebody's gave y'all a jumping out of an airplane for
Well,
free?
I know Simon really well. I for the last year or so, he and I have been hanging out and talking, and I've shot some videos for them. I made their commercial, and
Mhm.
so we had them in on the radio, and ever since then, he's been like, "When are you gonna go jump?" And so we're actually giving away a tandem sky jump trip today.
And you found somebody who would be willing to do
I
that?
think you should do it.
No, never.
Yeah.
I will never.
I wonder how much you would talk falling from the sky.
I wouldn't.
That's a good observation like that. I love
I wouldn't. I don't think I would ever jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
That's what the certificate says. That'd
No,
be good.
I would never do that. That's not something. No, but I want to tell y'all about what these guys.
Yeah,
are
what do y'all
doing.
have?
Yeah. Are you guys when are you guys open up on the 10th? Because I saw
Yes.
the text.
And they
Yeah.
have fundraisers coming up too.
Yeah,
What kind of fundraisers?
September 10th was our first day of school. We're excited.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to raise money right now because our program is low cost for parents. So it's like, there's a lot of schools in Houston that are specifically designed for students on the spectrum, but they cost about $20 grand a year. So it's just
Wow.
really, really expensive. So our program, because we're a nonprofit, it's extremely low cost. So we're trying to raise money right now because Cody and I are actually working for free. She's our program director and she's the head teacher for the program. So we are working for free just out of the goodness of our hearts because we believe in what we're doing. So we're trying to raise money for that, to be able to pay us and additional staff to hire. So we're doing a lot of, unique little events around the school and trying to reach out to businesses who'd maybe want to partner with us to help
Yeah.
mentor our students. And
So it's starting, you said elementary.
Mhm.
Is the plan to eventually
Yes.
everything?
Yes. So what our plan is that we really want to work with kids from the time they're 2 years old all the way through adulthood. Our whole mission is to basically have a well-rounded child, to be a productive, citizen in society. I mean, a lot of these parents that have children that are on the spectrum, they have to make tough decisions when their kids get older. They have to make decisions when they get in high school of like, becoming their guardian for life. I mean, honestly, a lot of kids, they don't have that opportunity to go out and get a job. Now, I'm not saying every kid, but I am saying there are a lot of kids out there that do not have that opportunity. So what we want to do, our mission in this program is to have a kid that's going to be, when he gets to, or she gets to that point, that they can go out and get a job. We want to partner with local businesses so we can have our kids be successful and go out to local bakeries and work in a bakery, either cooking or cleaning or whatever.
Mhm.
We just want to be able to provide opportunities for every single kid, just like our own children are provided,
Yes.
because obviously I'm a mom. So, I mean, that's all we want as a mom is just the best thing for our kids. So we see that, and we see that mission for the children that sometimes their parents have to make those hard decisions. I mean, this whole thing is not only just about academics, it's about socialization. It's about having a kid that can go out and get a job in the community. It's about being a support system for the families. Like I've been a teacher for, several years. I've been working with kids with autism for 18 years. I have literally watched and helped families go to church services for the first time. I mean, as a mom, I can't even imagine not being able to take your kid to a church service. I've been to Christmas Eve masses when I wasn't even Catholic, but it didn't matter because I walked in with them and just the parents tearing. I mean, I was just like in awe just because they got that opportunity. So it's a calling. Like, my mission for this whole, just the special needs community has always been there. My younger brother was adopted. He was a child that had severe ADHD. He went through a lot of problems, like in public school. My parents were major advocates for him. Just watching that growing up just made me a huge advocate. I just always wanted to be someone that reached out to this community. So it's just been a passion of like from a whole life, honestly. And I know that God put me on this earth for that reason, just to be an advocate and to always speak up for these children. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to provide support for the parents. I want to provide support for the kids. I want the community to understand that we can, we can all live together and we can all do something for everyone. And that's the main purpose of me coming on board.
Yeah. And you made a great part about the community. People don't realize how widespread autism is. 1 in 59 children under the age of 10 are diagnosed with autism. And, people, I think they maybe are not necessarily educated on it. So they kind of just turn their eye to what a family has to go through to raise a child like that.
I remember being in school and there were, like, you were in class and then there was a class where if people had a need that, I guess the teacher, they would keep them there. Yeah. And then I remember, interacting with them some, but not really. And I always thought, like, I guess wouldn't it make sense to keep them together so that way you get used to interacting? And then I guess here recently in the public school system, they have tried to do that, I suppose, where...
they do. Don't get me wrong. The public school system, it is something that they are trying to do where we are, all the kids are together. But there are just some needs that have to be done in a different classroom. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that watching some of my ex-students grow up, they leave me, they go to middle school, they go to high school, and then they're adults. And they're still living in their mom and dad's home, like they haven't been able to go get that job. They don't have that actual like job coaching. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that misconnect. Honestly, we're just doing a disservice. We are just missing that one little misconnect there. And that is just something we really need to work on as a community. And that's what we're trying to provide with this Oasis education program.
That's awesome. Because sometimes I guess like high schools will have classes where like, oh, you want to go to cut hair, cosmetology, you want to, learn how to do like mechanic stuff. But for those people, they would be like, oh, you can't do that. No, you can't be a mechanic. You can't cut hair, but so to have that opportunity as, someone in high school, like to get them, that's a great idea. Like have those businesses y'all work with, get them familiar with stuff and just do some training and and you can get them plugged in places.
And that's what we want. Honestly, if anyone hears anything about this business wise, that is the main thing that we really, that is something we really want to look into is we want businesses to reach out to us and say, you know what, that's a great plan. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to help you guys out because that is something that we do see a lot of is like, people, I think people are scared and I understand that. Like I really do. If you don't know something, you're going to be scared of it. Right. So it's not that we're just going to throw some heads out to you. We want to be there to to go through the process with you. So we just really know that there's a major need for it. And we know that this community, look how much they did during Hurricane Harvey. Honestly, this community is obviously loving and accepting and they will reach out and they'll do whatever they need to do. This is just one thing that we really want to do in the community too.
Awesome. I like it. I have to go to the restroom because we've been drinking a lot of water. So this is like I try and drink a gallon a day. And so
you're stuck with me.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll hurry.
You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. It's weird being over here because I'm not there and can't see you guys, but
we know you're there.
Still over
we
here.
can see you.
A little bit. So what's next, I guess, for your guys' building, I guess, for you guys to have the open space? Because September 10th is coming around.
Oh, yeah. So it's ready right now for
September 10th. The upstairs part of the building there's one part of the building upstairs that wasn't affected by Harvey, but it was just really outdated. So we went in there this summer and painted, laid down new floors, did some minor construction up there. So we will actually start our students upstairs until we can finish rebuilding the rest of the downstairs. And there's even some portables that we have on the building that we would love to we'd love to utilize them in some way if we can figure out how to rebuild it, or if not, maybe get some new ones. But the space that we have at Pine Drive Baptist Church, it's huge. There's probably a total of 35 classrooms in the whole entire space. So we've got enough now for what we need, but for us to be able to service more students and help, more people in the community, more families like this, we need to rebuild the rest of the building. So we've got plans to, we're still working on it, but it's just, a process.
And these kind of classrooms, they have to be tailored a little bit different than like a normal classroom because of the autism stuff.
Right. Right. So we're doing a very small ratio. So like we are only going to have 6 students in the classrooms. And so the main purpose behind that is basically, you know, just kind of like what you're saying. We need to have that small ratio to teachers to students. And we just see that through research, you see that it's just like you just gain so much more when you have a small ratio. So we are only starting out with the 2 classes right now. I think you heard us say a minute ago that we do have a wait list. We're just waiting to basically be able to open up the classes as needed as soon as we have the space. So,
and I'm just very grateful that I was able to meet Ashley, and you know, it's like I haven't done hardly anything for you guys other than give you book bags and I give you backpacks.
Well, so what do y'all need? Because I know you said, I guess there's part of the like the building stuff too. Obviously, like any like money donations or any material as well that y'all.
Yeah, there's inside Pine Drive Baptist Church where we're using the facilities. There's a huge full-size gym. And we really want to update that gym. So there's 5 feet of water in the gym, and all the acoustic paneling that was in the gym was ruined. So we really would love to have that provided to us because it is kind of a sensory issue for our students that are utilizing the gym.
Have they, I had wondered about the gym. Did they just rip stuff out? Is that how, so it's left like that right now?
It's everything's ripped off the walls, and then the floors, you know, is just down to the concrete that they had painted previous years. I mean, it's still usable, but for our students, we want to create an environment that's not only safe for them, but also where they feel safe and where, you know, there's not loud noises and their sensory is not getting affected, because then they're not going to be able to learn what we're trying to teach them in that space. So we'd really love to, you know, get the sound panelings back up.
Okay.
And businesses can donate by like an 8x8 banner. We're asking for businesses to be a sponsor a banner. We'll put them all over all over the gym, all over everywhere. If you want to give some money, we're looking for donations starting at $1,000 as much and up to $10,000. But if you've got $25 to give, they can use it. I mean, $25 buys a box of tile. You know, $25 buys, you know, if any type of little donation that you can give, it goes so far. I mean, I gave backpacks. It didn't seem like much, but after I went over there and saw the devastation, I mean, it's a lot over there. And for people who are still living in RVs and stuff like that, you got to realize that the need is still out there, and especially for Children's Oasis. My daughter has issues, and so being able to have a place that's local that she can go to is very important to me. So if there's any businesses out there that want to donate, I will tell you how. And they have
we do have a Facebook.
They have a Facebook page and a website and a way to donate through PayPal and Ashley's going to give you information about that.
Yeah, you can actually go to our website to learn more about our organization. It's www.children'soasisfoundation.org. And on there, you can hear more information about us and what we do for the community. And you can also directly donate on the website.
Cool. Can you tell me more about the backpacks? Because I think I saw some stuff about that, but I don't know all of the details.
Well, the backpack thing was, it's like I have a little group and people that I know that are still recovering from Harvey, and they asked me to they said they needed school supplies. So I'm only one person, so I wasn't there's no way that I could have done an entire list of school supplies for each child from elementary school on. It's like you're looking at $100 investment just on school supplies. So I did a school supplies drive that provided a backpack with a little bit of school supplies. I had a lot of donations from the community, such as Laura Engel and Karen Hychek, that they donated like 2 dozen backpacks, and the backpacks had a little bit of school supplies. I want to thank Angie Smith of Angie Smith Farmers Insurance. She gave like crayons, and to Gloria Green, who gave like water bottles and stuff. So, I mean, everybody has really helped, and I was able to give 120 backpacks total. And then I gave some to the Dickinson Education Foundation, and I give them to Children's Oasis. So thank you everybody who donated to that.
Very cool.
I think we do need to say thank you to we had a local owner of he's a gosh dog, I just forgot the name. He's like a business supply. Rusty's Tidwell. Yeah. He has a business supply company, and he came and donated literally 2 pallets of school supplies to our school. And not just us, Pine Drive as well, but he came this past week and brought 2 pallets full of things. Like, I don't know if people understand like the concept of like how much school supplies are, and like, you know, just what teachers put in, like that, you know, how much money they spend themselves. And, you know, don't get me wrong, like we have the ability to have things at the school, like, you know, school districts, they provide things, you know, but when you're a private school, I mean, you kind of go out and buy all that stuff yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was a very generous donation by him. And I think that was amazing that his company did that. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's Greater Houston Office Products. They're located in Link City. He's locally owned and managed. His name is Rusty Tidwell. He said, I don't really want a lot of attention. But I think that we should say great. We're thankful and grateful. And I want to say that he did a lot for the Dickinson Education Foundation. I mean, he's done a lot in the community. So I just want to say thank you, Rusty. Oh, thank you, Kim Hedgewood with Hedgewood Law Group too. She let me turn her law office into a donation center for my supplies because my husband won't let me do that anymore. he was like, no more because people were dropping. I have a small 2-bedroom condo, so I don't really have a lot of room. So
it's filled up, huh?
People were like, no, my husband's like, well, and I'm more of an ask forgiveness than an ask permission type of situation. And he just comes into stuff. You know, like one day he came home and our patio and every little inch of, he's like, what's going on here? Like, what is all this stuff? I was like,
by the way,
it's underwear. Yeah. I mean, like, it's underwear.
Awesome.
He's like, well, how long is it going to be here? And I was like, oh, and then I set fire to the stove that one time, but
that's why she doesn't cook.
Yeah. No, I was trying to cook.
Now
I
we
was trying to cook and I set the stove on fire. Not on purpose. I love you and I fixed it.
Okay, we got 40
He didn't know
seconds
until now. He just heard it on the live stream.
Exactly.
40 seconds,
Did you
yeah.
just say
And then we'll
that
go back on.
Oh my gosh.
We'll
Are
just,
you watching? Sorry. I love you. I love
They
you,
tried-
Joseph.
that's what everyone was trying to tell me to do with skydiving because I didn't. My wife was like, I'd rather you did not, just because, and I guess it makes sense. And they're like, well, just do it and don't tell her, or just do it and ask for forgiveness. I'm like, yeah, that'll be a terrible idea. It'd start like a huge fight.
Yeah.
And then this is why I told him not to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
10 seconds.
All ready?
Are we on? I thought we were already on.
Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:49 and now it is 10:50. We're hanging out. We have some guests in studio. We got Melissa, Ashley, and Cody in studio. Ashley and Cody are from the Children's Oasis Foundation. Melissa is doing some really cool things in the community. We were just talking on Facebook Live a little bit about all of the stuff that she recently just did, giving backpacks, giving some school supplies, and she gave some to the foundation, the Children's Oasis Foundation as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff. And I want to make sure that we definitely say a way to donate to the Children's Oasis Foundation. Can you kind of repeat those things so that way we make sure we get those?
Yeah, so the Children's Oasis Foundation, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, like I said earlier, that services families and children who are living with autism spectrum disorder. And we're starting an Oasis education program for students on the autism spectrum. And you can hear more about us on our website, which is www.children'soasisfoundation.org. You can directly donate on our website. We also have a Facebook page where you can donate there as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And then what was the other thing? It was the paneling and the gym, because the gym needs to be done too. So if anybody has a business and is looking to help out with that, it's soundproof paneling just to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And those businesses that go donate, I heard you guys say that they can also put up banners and stuff like that. And
yeah, they're okay. So it's an 8x8 gram with grommets banner. You know, it's full color. If you can think it, we can ink it. We'll make it look as well as you can. You know, all we're looking for is a donation beginning at. So the 8x8 is going to be $1,000 donation. We have 10x10s available. That's a $1,500 donation, and for $5,000. or more, we'll name the gym after you if you buy everything. It was like for $20,000, it'll be your gym at Pinehurst, you know. So I mean, y'all just think about that.
KHEA Radio
Yeah.
Gym.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
I mean,
be
it
like the
depends on how much
Kurt's
y'all
gym.
give.
Ooh. Wait, can I personally call it the Kurt's Gym for $5,000? I don't have $5,000 though. Is it worth it?
No,
Will
it'd be
somebody
more than
donate to
$5,000.
me so that I can name it after my? Oh wait,
It has to be more than $5,000.
it has to be more than $5,000.
Yeah.
So,
I really
but
need
that's
help
the
then if I want to
starting,
call
yeah.
it the Kurt.
Yeah, something like that or something. We're open to, like, what I was saying is, like, for $25 that buys
That buys the name of the gym. I got that.
no, it doesn't buy the name
Oh.
of the gym, but for like a $25 donation, it gets them closer. I mean, you can do so much for $20. So I mean, if you whatever you can give, they would be grateful to have it, you know. So I mean, but I mean, we are looking to area small businesses that would love to donate or do whatever you can.
If I did $25, could I have like my name like signatured onto the sign that says whoever spends the most, you know, so that at least I have a signature
I
on?
could see like going to a picnic table and like writing your name on Sharpie like underneath and be like, "Yep, Kurt, $25."
I'm thinking we might need to do like a tile entryway or something outside of the
Oh, that's a good
gym,
idea.
And then people
Ooh.
can buy like bricks. I think that's what
Or
we
a
should
tile
do.
or something like that. I mean, we've got a lot of, you know, like,
There's a lot of room out there.
yeah. I mean, when I started doing the Christmas thing, I thought that I was gonna. When I started the Christmas thing, I thought that I was gonna get all these toys and I was gonna deliver all these toys. No, you figure it out after you commit yourself. So I mean, yeah. So.
Yeah. So what did you get for the Christmas? Like it wasn't toys, it was other things.
No. Okay. So I thought that I was going to do I thought I was going to do this toy drive, but I didn't do that. I did it all through Amazon because I'm only one person.
Yeah.
So what I would do was I would have people who wanted to give, and then I had people who needed Christmas help. And they did an Amazon wish list for $250. I mean, I figure for $250, that's Christmas. I mean, I have one child. That's a lot of toys for one child, you know, but for an entire family, that's not a lot, you know, and they're asking for for Santa help, you know. So instead of doing like all the toys and stuff, they bought the Amazon wish list and it shipped directly to them.
That's
So
cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I didn't have to wrap, but wait, I did provide wrapping paper, and I did and for everybody who was in the hotel, still I did I want to thank Margot at the hotel. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Shout out to Margot. You
Yes,
know who you are.
Thank you, Mario Clemens. She works at the Hilton. She used to work at the Hilton anyway. So she provided a space so that we could have a brunch, a Christmas Day dinner. And thank
That's
you, Brad
awesome.
Hines, for the wrapping paper.
All right. Right now it's 10:54. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. We had a couple minutes left. We're hanging out, talking to Melissa, Ashley, and Cody, learning about the Children's Oasis Foundation. We're also learning about all the cool stuff that has taken place since Harvey, kind of reflecting.
I think that they open back up on September 10th for the start of the school year. They're still doing some fundraisers. They're still looking for donations to help. Their building, the building that they were used to be in, was completely flooded out. So this is an opportunity for that restoration to happen. Look at what kind of, Harvey could have destroyed a lot of people, but it really hasn't done that to this area.
I think really Harvey's been a blessing, honestly, for us. Even though there was 5.5 feet of water in the building, it's more beautiful than it was before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a blessing.
Yeah. I don't even know if I should say it, but my parents, like, there's people who, hey, maybe I should redo my house. I have been wanting to do that. And it's good to see the positive in things and just trying to find, the light. And Pastor Allen, when he was in here earlier, he kind of said, you can always look back on, relationships. Like, this is what life was like before Harvey. And you may be in tears, but it's important to like push forward and lean forward and just, don't focus on the back, focus on what's next. Like, what do I have to do for the next step? It's a small step. It's a journey. It's not just a overnight thing, especially with things like Harvey. There's people that are still displaced.
And what a wonderful community that we live in too. I mean, neighbors helping neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just the Oasis education program alone, like you were saying, how much of a positive can come out of a negative. The whole church was completely destroyed. I'll be honest with you, like that's something that's always been a mission of mine to have like a school like this. I never could do that financially. I never could bite that off on myself. And I mean, I think God brought me and Ashley together. I think having the devastation that they had in that church, having the ability to like rebuild it, have it the way it is, being able to give the opportunity to use our ministry inside that church is nothing but a positive out of a devastating situation. And so I think it's just amazing of the positivity that's come out of the whole entire community, and just to see what God's doing in everyone's lives.
Yes, right now it's 10:57. Thank you all for joining us today. We had a lot of fun. So this week we have a busy time. We have a busy day today. We have a lot going on. What do we got going on this week, Curt?
This week we're going to check out Bonnie's Donut today. Again, we love Bonnie's Donut. They're awesome partner with KHA Radio. So we're going to be there. We'll probably do a Facebook Live from there when we're there. We're also giving away a skydive trip. So you'll have to stand by for that video that will drop this afternoon. Tomorrow we have Dr. Aaron Chapa. We have Area 51 Auto. We have Talk of Alvin. We have Ricardo Daniels from State Farm Insurance coming in. Friday we have a tea shop in Alvin. I mean, we have plenty of things for you to connect with right here on KHEA Radio. Stay tuned on our Facebook page. Go follow us on YouTube. Like us on Instagram. Whatever it is for the social media, we got it. We got you covered.
Yes, I agree. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, 8:30. Bright and early every weekday. It's a new morning routine for you, and it's a blast. We love to try and help spread some positivity in any way that we can, spotlight some local businesses, some people that have some stuff going on in the community, people who have a story to share. If you have something you want to reach out to us with, you can always message us on Facebook, send us an email, khea@khearadio.com, or send us a text message or give us a call. It's 346-704-1806. Go ahead and put it in your phone and save it. It's 346-704-1806. If you call or text that number, it goes straight to my phone. It goes straight to Kurt's phone, and then we fight to see who answers it first.
Wait, we fight? I'm always winning then.
Well, I'm
quick.
A little less busy. I don't know. I'm always in a situation like I'm driving and I see it and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to put my daughter to sleep, or I don't know.
Every time I'm busy and I don't answer, I'm like, oh, well, Gardy will get it. And then no, neither of us did.
I'm a little bit busier. Maybe.
Just a little bit.
Just a
you
little
have
bit.
a kid.
I do. Two.
I
have two kids.
I'm two.
So yeah, it's 10:59. We're about out of time. So tomorrow morning, 8:30, tune in to KHEARadio.com and 99.5 FM. This has been Kickstart. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed day. Coming up next is some Toby Mac. Sweet.
Thank you.
All right.
Guys so
Say
much.
bye
Thank
to
you.
Facebook.
Love you. That's my favorite song.
By
Toby Mac. Yeah. That's my favorite.
We can do that. We can do that.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Thank
Thank
you
y'all
for
hanging
being
out.
here.
Hey, that explains why I didn't